Ali, Ali, Ali. Islam, Morris Ken, good morning.
Islam, National Assistant Grand Chief, Moorish America, and panel.
Islamism, all right. Praise be to Allah. Islam, Brother Body Bay. Sister Dendra Mia Curta Bay.
Islam.
Yeah, we had a little jarring up on this computer earlier on, but now start no mess.
Oh boy.
They mess with every apparatus they can. Goodness gracious.
Oh yeah.
And we gonna have our own apparatuses after a while. Go ahead, Grand Secretary of State.
That wasn't me. That was some voice.
What?
Yes. We're not going there, okay?
Oh my goodness.
I have my button on mute.
I heard that voice.
Yeah, me too.
I was like, what in the world?
That was off my phone.
Oh, that came off
That come from your phone.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha. I see. Islam. I got you. You on your phone and there.
Yeah, I was.
Oh, praise be to Allah. Look like Marvin Edward Bay trying to call me. Let me see if it's see. Islam, Grand Man. What's the drawing with you?
You send the link already?
Oh yeah, the link is sent out. Everybody on the panel, we waiting on you.
Wow.
You in there? I'm looking.
I see it now. Man, I guess I didn't move it.
It just come through.
But I didn't get order.
Oh yeah, they do that sometime.
Yeah,
it's up top. It's on top of the picture. I know I'm gonna put it on there, but it posted on the top.
Right.
I was actually trying to use the GIF as a promo, but praise be to Allah. Now you got it, and you can utilize it if you ever want to. It's fine.
Yes, sir.
All right, we'll see you when you get on the panel.
Yes, sir. Right there.
Gratitude.
I did that. Okay, enter.
Islam. All right.
Mute my phone.
So yeah, we let Brother Marvin Edward Bay come up in and all that. Well, we got some more tools to give our family. We're gonna try to get to know these demonstrations. They linked up to the same tools we got too. We done got another tool, family. We need all the tools that we can get.
That's right. Praise Allah.
Praise be to Allah.
Islam family.
Yes, sir.
Gratitude.
Islam.
Okay. All right. We'll let you open up the way, Brother Marvin Edwards Bay, and as we normally do.
Yes, sir. Gratitude. Okay. Yes, this is Dr. Marvin Edwards Bay out of Texas Consulate, rising, giving all praise to the great God Allah, highest honors to his prophet, and honors to our Act 1, all of our officials, and to this class, our Egyptian Adeptus Research Sultanate class, and everything that's Moorish. And I'll begin with our Committing Adept Moorish American prayer. Ya Allah Abnu Heru Maku Nataru, Ya Allah Abhet Heru, Ya Allah Ma'at Heru, Ya Allah Hotep Heru, Ya Allah Heru, Ya Allah Ma'at Herkuti, Ya Allah Awjet Dejuti, Ya Allah Pertim Sutek, Pertim Heru, Ya Allah Bamaduti, El Hezjit Ray of Tuali. Amen. In transliteration, O Allah, the Father of the universe, O Allah, the Father of love, O Allah, the Spirit of truth, O Allah, the Spirit of peace, O Allah, the Spirit of freedom, O Allah, the Spirit of justice. O Allah, you are my protector. O Allah, you are my guide. O Allah, you are my salvation by night and by day. O Allah, through your holy prophet, Drew Ali. Amen. Holy yourself, holy yourself, holy yourself. And I'll begin with our divine constitution of Moorish America. Salvation, our God, unity. The divine constitution of Moorish America. The Grand Sheikh and the chairman of Moorish America are in power to make law and enforce laws with the assistance of the Prophet and the Grand Body of Moorish America. The Assistant Grand Sheik is to assist the Grand Sheik in all affairs if he lives according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and it is known before the citizens of Moorish America. The bylaws. Act 2. All meetings are to be opened and closed promptly according to the Circle 7 and love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And it is known before the citizens of Friday is our holy day of rest. Because on a Friday the first man was formed in flesh. And on a Friday the first man departed out of flesh and ascended unto his Father God Allah. For that cause, Friday is the holy day for all Muslims all over the world. Act 3. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice must be proclaimed and practiced by all citizens of Moorish America. No citizen is to put in danger or accuse falsely his brother or sister on any occasion at all that may harm his brother or sister, because Allah is love. Act 4. All citizens must preserve these holy and divine laws, and all citizens must obey the laws of the government, because by being a Moorish American, you are a part and parcel of the government and must live the life accordingly. Act 5. No organization of Moorish America is to cause any confusion or to overthrow the laws and constitution of the said government, but to obey hereby. Act 6. With us, all citizens must proclaim their nationality, and we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they are a part and a parcel of the said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained Noble Drew Ali the prophet to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites whom inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. Act 7. All citizens must promptly attend their meetings and become a part and a parcel of all uplifting acts of Moorish America. Moorish Americans must pay their dues and keep in line with all necessities of Moorish America, and then you are entitled to the name of faithful. Husband, you must report your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children and look at the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother and be industrious and become a part of the uplifting of fallen humanity. All Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and minds pure with love and their bodies clean with water. This divine covenant is from your holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, through the guidance of his Father God Allah. Prophet Noble Drew Ali, peace and blessing be upon him, founding father and framer of the divine constitution and bylaws of Moorish America. And now meetings have been opened according to law. We will have our chapter of the day read by our our National Secretary of State of South Carolina, Dr. Dendra Ani Okurtabe. Islam.
Islam, Islam, Islam. I am Dr. Dendra Ani Okurtabe. But first, let me rise and give praises to our great God Allah. I give honors to our holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali. I give honors to Act 1. I give honors to all my government officials, and I give honors to you, Council General of Texas, Dr. Marvin Edwards Bay, for opening us up according to law. And I also give honors to our National Assistant Grand Sheik for sponsoring our class, Islam. I will be reading our chapter 39, coming from our Holy Quran, and it reads, Pilate's final effort to release Yehoshua fails. He washes his hands in feigns innocence, delivers Yehoshua to the Jews for execution. The soldiers drive him to Calvary. A superstitious people are the Jews. They have a faith that they have borrowed from the idol worshippers of the lands, that at the end of every year they may heap all their sins upon the head of some man set apart to bear their sins. The man becomes a scapegoat for the multitudes, and they believe that when they drive him forth into the wilds or into foreign lands, they are released from sin. So every spring before the feast, they choose a prisoner from the prisons of the land, and by a form of their own, they fain would make him bear their sins away. Among the Jewish prisoners in Jerusalem were three who were the leaders of a vile, seditious band who had engaged in theft and murders and rapine and had been sentenced to be crucified. But Barabbas and Josiah were among the men who were to die. But Barabbas was rich and had bought off priests to bond to be the scapegoat for the people at the coming feast, and he was anxiously in waiting for his hour to come. Now Pilate thought to turn this superstition to account to save the Lord Yehoshua, and so he went before the Jews and said, "You men of Israel, according to my custom, I will release to you today a prisoner who shall bear your sins away. This man you drive into the wilds or in foreign lands, and you have asked me to release Barabbas, who has been proven guilty of the murder of a score of men. Now hear me, men. Let Yehoshua be released, and let Barabbas pay his debt upon the cross. Then you can send this Yehoshua to the wilds and hear no more of him." At what the ruler said, the people were enraged, and they began to plot to tear the Roman palace down and drive in exile Pilate and his household and his guards. When Pilate was assured that civil war would follow if he heeded not to the wishes of the mob, he took a bowl of water, and in the presence of the multitude, he washed his hands and said, "This man whom you accuse is son of the Most High Allah, and I proclaim my innocence. If you would shed his blood is on your hands and not mine." And then the Jews exclaimed, "And let his blood be on our hands and on our children's hands." And Pilate trembled like a leaf in fear. Barabbas he released, and as Lord stood forth before the mob, the rule said, "Behold your king, and would you put to death your king?" The Jews replied, "He is no king. We have no king but great Tiberius." Now Pilate could not give consent that Roman soldiers should imbue their hands in blood of innocent, and so the chief priests and the Pharisees took counsel what to do with Yehoshua. Caiaphas had said, "We cannot crucify this man. He must be stoned to death and nothing more." And then the rabble said, "Make haste, let him be stoned." And then they led him forth toward the hill beyond the city's gate, where criminals were put to death. The rabble could not wait until they reached the place of skull. As soon as they had passed the city's gate, they rushed upon him, smote him with their hands. They spit upon him, stoned him, and he fell upon the ground. And one, a man of Allah, stood forth and said, "Isaiah said, he shall be bruised for our transgression, and by his stripes we shall be healed." As Yehoshua laid all bruised and mangled on the ground, a high priest called out, Stay, you men. Behold, the gods of Herod come, and they will crucify this man." And there beside the city's gate, they found Barabbas' cross. And then the fringed mob cried out, "Let him be crucified." Caiaphas and the other ruling Jews came forth and gave consent. And they lifted Yehoshua from the ground, and at the point of swords, they drove him on. A man named Simon from Serene, a friend of Yehoshua's, were near the scene. And since the bruised and wounded Yehoshua could not bear his cross, they laid it on the shoulder of this man and made him bear it to Calvary. Islam, Islam, Islam. I will now turn the class back over to our National Assistant Grand Sheikh, Dr. Sadu Ameti El Muhammad Sepsuel. Islam.
Islamism. Can you hear me, Goddess and Queen?
Islam. I can hear you well.
Gratitude. Let us rise upon the seven and give all praises to the great God Allah, Father God Allah, and honors to his holy prophet, honors to our holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, El Hajj Sharif Abdul Ali, that is. We give honors to our Moorish kin once again, here, there, and everywhere, and therefore honors to all of you who are continuously honoring yourselves by being yourselves. We give honors to our Grand National Seal. We give honors to our Grand National Emblem, National Flag, Divine Constitution, and bylaws, and honors to all of you who are indeed a living manifestation and personification of everything that our Holy Prophet brought to make us a nation. I want to welcome you, Moors, to another Egyptian Adeptus Research Sultanate session. And we just give honors to our family, for everything it is that you are doing on the manifest in this new era and time to uplift fallen humanity. We want to welcome our family again to another, Egyptian Adeptus Research Sultanate session. We got a powerful measure to bring on the manifest, but before we do that, we always like to open up with a reading from the Book of Fire. And so if we would, we have our family volunteer to read Islam.
Islam.
And we're going to start on page 100. And you can start, Brother Bati Bey, where it states the shrine, Freemasonry's underground to Islam. Islam. And you can actually stop. Let's see what page this is. You can actually stop above where it states life's 3 degrees of growth. Islam on page 102.
Islam.
Okay.
Islam.
Gratitude. And Brother Marvin Edwards, Bay, that's you?
Yes, sir.
All right. You can start from 102. And you can take us all the way to the bottom of 104. Islam?
Yes, sir. Islam.
All right. And one more.
Islam.
Islam, Grand National Secretary of the State. You can actually take us from page 105 to the end of 106. Islam?
Islam. Gratitude.
Gratitude, family. Islamism without the schism. All right, Brother Bati Bey, I'm a Badu. You may proceed.
Well, just in there. 1 second. Let me get up. Islam. First, I'd like to rise and give all manner of praise to Allah, honors to the Prophet, honors to our theocratic government, our royal council, our flag, seal, emblem, our divine constitution, our swift angels, mufti, citizens alike, honors to all the Moors that are here and the sound of my voice, those that know, those that don't. And I'd like to give honors to our teacher on this, the Canadian Adept Islam. And I also like to give honors to the Moors that are on the panel, Islam. With that, I begin. The shrine, Freemasonry underground to Islam. Grand Seal of the Ancient Arabic Order, Imperial Council of the Noble Mystic Shrine. The Shriners, first established in New York in 1872, is compiled of all Master Masons from both the Blue Lodges of the Scottish Rite and the Blue Lodges of the York Rite. To be a functioning Master Mason in each or both simultaneously, Blue Lodge is the major requirement to enter the shrine. In all the world of Masonry, the Shriners are the most conspicuous and the most identifiable by John Q. Public. They are deliberately a high profile of Mason elitism Their men are often seen in parades guised in full African adornments, especially wearing harem's holy headdress, better known as the fez. Shriners, in preparation to make their pilgrimage to the Grand Lodge in England to receive their 33rd degree, hold pilgrimage to the Grand Lodge, pardon me, hold steadfast to their Islamic connection. A Shriner's sacred book is the Holy Quran, and all titles, lodges, etc., have Islamic based names, e.g., Mecca, Medina, and Sharif. Actually, children's hospitals and Islam are about the only things a Shriner takes seriously. As for the rest of the world, including the Blue Lodges, they have been there and done that. So it's time to get right to the face, time to get right to face the truth. Shriners Jews, the Islamic Scimitar, note the Islamic Scimitar, Comedian Sphinx, Crescent Moon, and the 5-point star. The secret society called the Shriners is where the river of Freemasonry finally flows back into the African Sea of Islam, from which it was pillaged. Make no mistake about it, the Shriners is the last European toehold to their African creators. The Illuminati is far left of the Shriners and would rather the entire earth be subjugated into destruction before they submit to their African roots. If one was to remove all the Arabic words, Islamic signs, symbols, and African originations, including the architecture and internal decoration of Freemasonry lodges, the only thing remaining would be packs of hold on, excuse me. The only thing remaining would be packs of male Europeans crawling around naked while growling fears at each other. Everything claimed by pale skinned Masons were stolen from Africa after the murder and burial of the African God man. Naturally, if you let the thief describe the crime, he will say he killed Harem and robbed him of his tools for his own good. Nevertheless, this is why it is so difficult for the Moorish in America to wake up and recognize their inheritance from those using stolen goods. Technically, Negro Masons are like neonate Africans being nursed by a she wolf because, as free Negroes, they gravitate towards the first one to feed them, the light. Freemasonry becomes their God for life, especially after having reached the level of the shrine. Little do they know, being made in the image and likeness of the Creator, they are naturally born being the way, the truth, and the light. Nevertheless, it is a rough task to convince he is a slave if he does not know he is a slave. Repeat that again. It says, nevertheless, it is a rough task to convince a slave he is a slave if he doesn't know he is a slave. And for a 33 and a third degree Shriner to offer an African man his search for the light of Freemasonry is like getting the sun to accept the flickering light from from an American candle called the Shriners. It is because of Freemasonry great secret that Noble Drew Ali had to perform the most magnanimous miracle of all times and climes by raising an entire nation from the dead and dry bones. After having been bleached in noonday sun of feigned laws in the northwestern hemisphere, he began this by teaching them to be themselves. Noble Drew Ali first teaches the Moorish children question, who made you? Answer, Allah. This clearly shows Drew Ali returned true wisdom to the Moorish blood because here the very first thing a Muslim child is taught just happened to be the last thing a full-grown Master Mason learns. That is, Allah is the great God, that he and man are one. In fact, as with ancient African customs, Allah's the greatest is whispered into each newborn ears, and or it is held upward into the universal first star, cleared night, and offered to the only one greater than itself. The lessons of masterminds continue from the cradle to perfection. The Mason murdered Hiram Abiff and stole his pious tools of character building to form the 3 degrees of Freemasonry. Contrary to all the hype of secrecy, many chair rituals, passwords, and worldwide influence, there are only 3 degrees of Masonry: the entered, apprentice, fellowcraft, and master mason. The origins of these 3 degrees are rooted deep into the conscious plight of the original man, and are described as 3 steps on the master's carpet. Brother Yehoshua, as a member of the Sacred Nazarite Brotherhood, described these 3 steps as the 3 step ladder of salvation, called belief, faith, and fruition. See religion. These 3 steps are a one-way must for man to unfold from the flesh to soul to spirit through thought elevation. Mason's 3 degrees began from a dead level through the perpendicular brotherhood to the G, gold rulers of the land. Men through eyes of flesh cannot see Solomon's temple. This temple is located in the heart of man, where things are made of thought. It is a building of consciousness designed inward from the blueprint of the divine mind. See third eye. It is man's ultimate and final place of abode or peace, and can only be constructed through the highest principles with tools made of thought. Isa, or Yehoshua, spoke of these tools, which Haran had also possessed when just a boy of 12 years, just before his father Joseph and mother Mary gave their permission to the guru Prince Ravina Jha of India to take him there for the next 12 years. Joseph was a Nazarite master carpenter of the sacred school of Melchizedek. When his son observed the tools, he said, "These tools remind me of the ones we handle in the workshop of the mind, where things are made of thought and where we build up character. We use the square to measure all our lines, to straighten out the crooked places of the way and make the corners of our conduct square. We use the compass to draw the circles around our passions and desires to keep them in the bounds of righteousness. We use the axe to cut away the knotty, useless, and ungainly parts and make the character symmetrical. We use the hammer to drive home the truth and pound it in until it's a part of every part. We use the plane to smooth the rough and uneven surface of joint and block and board that go to build the temple for truth. The chisel, line, and plummet, and the saw all have their use in the workshop of the mind. And then this ladder, with its trinity of steps, faith, hope, and love, on it we climb up to the dome of purity in life. And on the 12-step ladder, we ascend until we reach the pinnacle of that which life is spent to build, the temple of perfected man. See appendix, Morse Holy Quran, 13 to 21, excuse me. Masons robbed Haram, Africans, Abiff, of their tools and took them to the second floor of their treehouse, Blue Lodge. The treehouse means literally what it says. It is the house built within an acacia tree atop the grave of Africans buried here in the West. From the structural point of view, the treehouse is the only room reserved in the White House for Masonic rituals. This includes swearing on the 10-pound St. John's Bible for Masonic presidents. However, Nabadru Ali said, the power does not lie within the possessing of things, but in the use of them. Masons use these tools to build God's kingdom on earth. Skyscrapers, weapons of mass destruction, manifest for their convenience and momentums in honor of himself. Noble Drew Ali said, all of these are Muslims. There is a holy covenant of all Asiatic nations. All people of color, when in their natural God state, are free, ancient, and accepted. Any light looks unnatural, looking for itself. The light. Through Western colonialization, there is only one other nation whose men crave to be free, ancient, and accepted in the light. King Solomon, a Christ. On understanding Solomon, one must first look into the origin of this name, which is actually an attribute. Solomon is a high collective attribute of three languages: Sol, Om, On. Sol, Latin means soulless sun. Om, Sanskrit equals Sanskrit. Om, sunlight to sound to light. On equals Ethiopic high God spirit. Solomon is a spiritual force that unites divinity and matter. Carnal man has been looking for Solomon's temple, Solomon's mind, and Solomon's treasure since the European first pillaged Africa. The reason they have been unsuccessful is because everything about Solomon, as defined in the name, is intangible and imperceptible. Solomon came through the sacred family called Nazarite. And Nazarite is a sacred, not secret, brotherhood of all souls whose highest station acquired is that of a Christ. That's Christ. Every Nazarite is a priest within himself with purified thought patterns to become Emmanuel, God and man. Some of its members are known as major prophets, saints, messengers of the highest degree of guidance to man. They never die and are eternally in the universal infinite order of Melchizedek. A person born in Nazareth is known as a Nazarene, and not to be confused with being a Nazarite. Yehoshua, the Emmanuel and holy prophet, received his Christhood from the sacred school. Some of the great fathers through which Yehoshua came were Nazarites: Abraham, Boaz by Ruth, Jesse, King David, Solomon, Hezekiah, and Joseph, his father. What made Yehoshua so holy and famous was he and all his forefathers were graduates of the Egyptian mystery system. No European had become a Nazarite. The sacred school, Solomon's Grand Temple, and the University of Melchizedek are one and the same. Only the pure in heart traveling eastward or inward through the love and truth shall see the great God, see third eye. Freemasonry and its lodges are in the image of these first kings, but in fact are those who trap themselves outside at 32 degrees. The greatest gift about King Solomon is he is noted for his wisdom. He possessed superhuman knowledge through understanding the fruition of God and man. Most Westerners, especially those of the Christian persuasion, usually speak negatively of Solomon because he was husbandman to 500 wives, 800 concubines, and fathered hundreds of children. Since Solomon, son of prophet David, great grandfather of Yehoshua, was such an upright man who served God, would it take a lot of intelligence to unite his God to his rulership with his polygamous family? Over 1,000 women honored. One of Africa's greatest kings is not only recognizable as the highest level of civilization, but is also woven with thread of pure godliness. Not one woman cried rape or asked for the alimony, the alimony from a divorce, nor did one repossess his children and run off to some judicial pimp judge for child support. It would do America good to see the same God man in King Solomon as did the women of his kingdom saw aloft in him. They all could not be wrong. One of them became the great grandmother of Hezekiah and Yehoshua. The little known truth about the building of King Solomon's temple is founded upon the fact it is not built by hand. It is not in the best interest of Western civilization to promote the truth, especially about Solomon's temple. Therefore, it remains covered in modern mystery. Freemasonry actually began at the conclusion of the European probe into African mind. However, their total research could not penetrate beyond the five senses. These aristocratic explorations could not discover beyond the realms of human knowledge, which is the summation of what mankind could only taste, touch, hear, smell, and see with the two physical eyes. See, human knowledge / third eye. There is a world of difference between what is sacred and what is secret. Freemasonry, which officially began June 21st, 1717 in an English tavern called the Goose of the Gridiron, is the end result of European search for King Solomon's first temple in Jerusalem. The Masonic orders are the storage houses of nearly 2,000 years of pillaging of African sacred temples, religions and sciences, which had been used to civilize and cultivate the world. They ravaged Africa from the Rock of Gibraltar to Timbuktu. The libraries of Egypt are finally back to the holy lands of Isaac and Ishmael, Jerusalem and Mecca. Unfortunately, the European mind could not conceive beyond rationalization summarized by the senses. He could not harness the power of the universal or divine spirit, nor accept Africa as his daddy. So, in a pissed rejection, the Netherlands marked Africa as the dark, dead, lifeless continent and sealed their bounty in the secrecy of their lodges. For those who may find these facts as somewhat hard to believe, or that the author may be a few quarts low, can do this little simple test. Remove everything: signs, symbols, names, rites, words, books, and tools from Freemasonry, which is rooted in Africa. Then see what this European secret society has of its own that is not so secret. Dear readers, it is okay. You may try this at home with your highest degree. The very warlike, earthbound nature of the European is what forbade him to enter the garden of the great God, Creator, El Allah Om. That he tried to enter through Harem Abith. True wisdom was far too presuming, bright, peaceful, and of higher degrees of conscience for the sons of Europe. Hence, Mason's God, G, is frozen at 32 degrees of 100%, 360 degrees of African wisdom. Islam, Islam, Islam. And with this, I would like to turn the meeting over to Marvin Edward Bay for his portion of the meeting. Islam. Islam, I don't see nobody else on here.
Oh, pardon body. I did unmute. Gratitude and praise and honor self in government, but I reiterate, praise Allah and highest honor to his prophet, Noble Drew Ali, and honor to everything that is Moorish. And I'll begin. All things of life grows in 3 degrees. Of course, this is a 1 1/3, 1.3 degree left a Mason can acquire after 25 and 35 years of faithfulness. This is the whole of Masonry and is only 3 degrees, 1/3 of 100, which is 33 and 1/3. The true 3 degrees were known and used by Africans over 10,000 years ago. They built civilizations according to this science. All life comes in growth of 3 degrees. Example, life's 3 degrees of growth: manifest, water, 3 degrees of scientific construction, gaseous, liquid, solid, controlled by temperature. Manifest, speed. 3 degrees of scientific constitution, fast, slow, stop, controlled by acceleration. Manifest, man's body. 3 degrees of scientific constitution, infant, adolescent, adult, controlled by growth. Manifest, man. 3 degree of scientific constitution, spirit, soul, body, controlled by thought. Manifest, salvation. 3 degrees of scientific constitution, belief, faith, fruition, controlled by consciousness. Manifest, government. 3 degrees of scientific constitution, citizen, family, nation, controlled by constitution. Manifest, organization. 3 degrees of scientific constitution, member, official, executive, controlled by charter. Drew Ali taught, the same sun that softens the wax also hardens the clay. Thus, all of life is constituted by thought activity, or slowed down by lack of it. This truth of things which created and forms matter cannot be seen with eyes of flesh, yet they give life to all manifest. Yet, the height of a mason's 32nd degree master mason, temple of perfected man, yet the height of a mason's 32nd degree master mason ends at the lowest level of the light, and that is in search of the light. If placed on a scale of divinity, the temple of perfect man, the entire 33 and a third is only 1/3 of the whole. The entire whole of masonry, of Freemasonry, is the 1/3 of man ruled by the 5 senses, or the manifest, the world of the physical. The 5 senses, if used by ignorance, will become rulers of a world of illusions. This is why the Mason man is a master of deception. He is G of imagery and fear, while laboring under the auspices of order out of chaos. He may feign peace through the barrel of a gun. Meanwhile, a true God man repeats the words of all adepts of Islamism: I am the way, the truth, and the light. None can enter into the kingdom except through me. No one will ever hear these words from any man who will die while still in search of the light. The other 2/3 of Solomon's temple is above the senses, above the eyebrow, see, third eye. Man, through eyes of flesh, cannot see this other 2/3, yet it constitutes the all of life. The middle third is the soul, astro, of man, the plane of thought, consciousness. The final third is the spirit of the great God, harmonies of life, love, and truth. The murder of Hiram Abiff is the Europeans' way of saying to Africans, I am God, ruler of the land, air, and water. I will bury you and your inferior God of faith. As Horus was among the first to become the Christ, so was Solomon a Nazarite, Christ, and a member of the order of Melchizedek. All Masons know the Yehoshua, all Masons know that Yehoshua was not falsehood. All Masons know that Yehoshua was not the first and only Christ, but it is to the advantage of the order to keep the world drugged with Christian-flavored falsehood. This is why Solomon's instructions were simply to build a temple without the sound of hammer. The majority of Christendom has been watered down with in search of the light rituals, especially in their black churches. Meanwhile, they reject the very keystone of King Solomon's temple to build that temple made on the square of perpendicular truth and level of love, which cannot be made by hand. Yet, if they were to look beneath the surface of worldly rubble, they will find the object of their search. Solomon's temple is made of their souls, not just for them. The stones of the pyramid represent the nations of the human family that were indigenously spawned from the holy lands of Africa, beginning with the garden planted east in Eden, a maxim. See Adam and Eve. Oaths. Oaths are as necessary to become and be a mason as water is to fishes. To man, pardon self, no man is going to be a mason without swearing a complexity of oaths. But there is a catch, and in the words of Noble Drew Ali, even a fish wouldn't take the bait if it knew the hook was hidden therein. Most people in the West have no idea how evil and soul stagnating the oaths of men can be to themselves and governments of the world. This is what the Holy Quran has to say about oaths. Surah 15, Ayat 1. Allah has prepared for them a severe chastisement. Evil indeed are their deeds. Ayat 16. They have made their oaths a screen. Thus they obstruct men from the path of Allah. Therefore shall they have a humiliating chastisement. Ayat 18. The day of Allah, the day of Allah rake them up for judgment. Then will they swear to you, and they think that they have something to stand upon. No, indeed, they are but liars. In a shallow defense of ignorance, most Westerners and those that accept their teachings do not consciously know what an oath is. Yet it is they who also deem ignorance of the law is no excuse. Surely any up-to-date thesaurus or dictionary will reveal the evil intent and impurities of oaths. The definitions do not make exceptions between the givers and the takers of oaths. Most Masons refer to their mandatory oaths as oaths of obligation. Vows, declarations, and affirmations and covenants are conscious commitments based upon immutable principles from the great God through man for man. They are not a play on words and should not be confused with oaths and promises made in their image. Oaths are profane and obscene. Oaths are carnal promises made from one man to another in order to redirect trust from divinity to matter. Oaths are made for / sworn upon by man's highest ideal of his daily God. For example, others' grave, children, car, Bible, personal life, and the other popular, I swear to God. Oaths Oaths have no honorable purpose in lieu of intent. Oaths, directly or indirectly, being founded in darkness, wrongness, and secrecy, are covertly opposed to truth, justice, mercy, love, and right. Freemasonry, as openly practiced in all levels of U.S. courts, uses oaths to distinguish the light status of respected jurors, witnesses, defendants, and plaintiffs. Although all courtrooms are Masonic playpens, most John and Jane Doe citizens are completely unaware of the drama of the secret brotherhood being staged around them. When anyone swears under oath, They're, in fact, letting Masons know they are committed to Freemasonry and not to the great God. Now, on the other hand, if one declares or affirms, he is consciously proclaiming the oneness to the only authority higher than man, the creator of all life. Death oaths are a very, very, very serious to all oneself. Death oaths are very, very, very serious to all true Masons. These oaths are second only by the greatest secret they are sworn to conceal. The death oaths are constant reminders of true Freemasons' promise to sustain the advertised death and burial of all Africans, their glorious contributions to civilization and divine guidance to man, by any form of deception and suppression necessary. By the time he becomes a 32nd degree Master Mason, he has sold his soul and ass to Masonry dozens of times. No other god, place, time, or person, living or dead, means more to a Mason than the death oaths of his lodge. This constant oath taking is only flares of insecurity and is the mercy seat for the shallow threat of once a Mason is always a Mason. Even if he leaves the dues paying lodge, he can never leave Masonry, except one way, by being shown later. Meanwhile, in support of all the true Freemasons of the Scottish Rite, York Rite, or Shrine, they are to be honored to the highest for being true and being themselves authors commit. Does "So help me God" ring a bell? These are the concluding words of a Mason after making any oath obligation, blood oaths. So help me God and keep me steadfast in the performance of same. These words are transferred from the lodges to the Masons' open-faced playpen in the U.S. courtrooms and oaths of office. Iron hand of oppression. Noble Drualis spoke many times of the iron hand. In his one-on-one questionnaire for Moorish children, he stated, question, why did Allah send Yehoshua to this earth? Answer, to save the Israelites from the iron hand oppression of the pale-skinned nations of Europe, who were governing a portion of Palestine at the time. It was the pale-skinned proficient in the craft of clan enslavement through years of civil conquest throughout Europe prior to the invasions in North Africa and the sun-kissed nations of the earth. Today, there is no other race of people who can surpass Europeans in pogrom, global transmitted diseases, weaponry of mass destruction, terrorism, imprisonment, and diversified suffrages before death. Iron. To those who do not know the chemical mastery of iron, iron will appear as a substance far too strong, bonded, and powerful to ever change. But iron will submit to the spirit of fire, which man calls heat. Iron is just another mineral of earth until man forges it with various degrees from the element of fire. Fire softens, tempers, and changes the constitution of iron. Whatever shape the iron has been formed into from the fire, it will remain formed. Like so, once the heat is removed, like so, when the heat is removed, it remains hard, stubborn, and strong in its molded boundaries until met with the extremities of the element again. The hand. The human hand is symbolic of the mind because of its abilities to grasp, retain, and be a major protracted robot obedient to the will of man. The hand can hold with the delicacy of a feather or the power of a death grip at the will of the user. Prophets and masterminds also view the hand as a God gifted organ. The adepts of the Golden Temple of Tibet said of the mind, "Thine hand, is it not a miracle? Is there in the creation aught like unto it? Wherefore was it given thee, but that thou mightst stretch it out to the assistance of thy brother, of oppression, of oppression, oppression." The third word of this subject, iron hand oppression, originated from the Latin word oppress or opprimere. Oppression is the persecution or subjugation of a person / people by the unjust use of power or authority. There is also mental oppression. This is a form of depression of the mind or spirits by overwhelming weight and conditioning upon subordinate personage. Psychological oppression causes the mind to regress into a comatose state, small enough to be dysfunctional within the realms of prescribed behavior, but remain shackled from the normality of exploratory freedom. Here, the mind has been so oppressed until it accepts imposed outside universal and / or natural laws to color its authority, thereby promoting the rulers and the rich, the lion, to live while the poor, the lamb, suffer and die. The grip of any human hands rests largely upon the positioning and gives a grip its power. Remove the thumb and the grip is reduced to a mere hold and subject to release. Like so, the iron hand of oppression governing Islam. And I'll turn this over to our Grand Assistant Secretary of the State, Dr. Hesepsi Tutankhamun Bey. Islam.
Islam, rising, giving praises to Allah, honor to our Prophet, honor to our E.A.R.S class for this afternoon. Am I not a man and a brother? An accepted Negro Grand Master equals one death. The answer to the above question asked when the 1787 poster of a so-called Negro, black, and colored slave should be found in the lodge which made his Grand Master brother, right? Wrong. Notice one Negro asked about being a man and having a brother somewhere. The Mason does not consider the slave to be his brother because he is free, ancient, and accepted, while the slave Negro is not accepted in the Prince Hall Negro Lodge. Is it divine, nationally, or legally possible to distinguish between a Negro slave and a free Negro, especially since they are both Negroes made by the same master Europeans? Other than Willie Lynch, what is wrong with the above pictures? 99.9% of all so-called Black Masons are completely ignorant as to why they are fraudulent Freemasons and can never muster the criteria of a European, much less that of a human. And the few that maybe, perhaps, guess they know cannot tell anyone about the reality pains of self-enslavement. It's a bad crime of rape for a man to awaken from a coma to discover he has been sexually assaulted. But it's much worse when he accepts that trauma because he likes it. This may be a candid way of revealing this post-traumatic slave syndrome, but such is the life of a Negro, black, and colored Mason without knowledge of himself, descendant nature of his forefathers, and free national name. What will come as one of the greatest criminal mysteries to be solved by all Negro Freemasons will be the discovery of how they have been used by the European Masonic orders as paid informants, monitors, and slave catchers of their own people. Their position is mostly to be the secret 33-inch ceiling over their oppressed people assuring their backs remain horizontal and to never organize or muster the strength to stand perpendicular as a people. As crude as it may sound, if the Negro (parentheses property) could be translated into rolls of toilet paper, Black Masons would be manufactured as the 3-ply rolls. While they boast of superior and secret knowledges unknown to the first and second ply rolls, they are blinded by their leading role as the better ass wipes of the status quo production. This is not to be mean or unjust, but the same pale-skinned people that made Negroes, Blacks, and colored people out of the indigenous God-men of Africa are also the founders of the Negro Lodge of Freemasonry. Since when has the master given his slaves the tools to become greater than himself? When the pure truth is on the table, a shocking reality to all so-called Negro Masons of the Colored Lodge and the African American Order of Freemasonry will reveal one thing. From a legal and historical foundation, there is no such person, place, or thing as a Black Mason, Black Masonic Lodge, or Black Freemasonry. Although the first lodge, number 459, was known as the first African lodge, with Prince Hall as master, the fact they were forced to retain slave names, quote unquote, sustained their place as property to this day. The word Black alone disqualifies all slaves with their slave names away from any form of freedom, including free masonry. The original and polypresent Freemasonry was not, is not, and cannot be for Black men, but is in fact the very God that made Blacks into slaves in the very first place. Show me a Black (parentheses Mason), anybody, and I will show you a man-made and a non-people on the scales of the human family of nations. This is a person that does not know his one free national name (parentheses nationality). Neither he or his nation is free, and the God he presently serves is not his own or that of his ancient forefathers. Then again, so-called Blacks are the only men on the planet without the genealogy of a forefather, bar the Black man's widower exception of his feigned forefathers that brought forth on this continent a new nation and their slaves. This is because the so-called Negro race has neither mother nor father for which to honor. If the founding fathers of the United States were European Freemasons and they legalized all stolen Africans as slaves in their Constitution, then who were the slaves in those lawful days, and weren't the Prince Hall Masons compiled of free colored men, or were they free Negroes? Bear in mind, there is absolutely no difference in the slave status of a Negro, whether they are free or fettered. All Negroes are slaves. This is to simply say, it is impossible to make a Mason out of an individual that does not know who he is, who made him, where he came from, where he is going. And the heartbreaker of all questions is, since the Honorable Prince Hall and other Negro Masons has been around years before the United States had its free national name, why hasn't one so-called African Mason led his people to freedom? The answer is simple. No one can lead anyone to some place they have never been. No Negro, Black, colored, be they Mason, Christian, or otherwise, has ever known true freedom, nor will they, because there is no difference between a Negro slave and a free Negro. They are both in a state of Negro slavery, USA. This chapter is dedicated to my beloved brothers whose mind has been forged into the disbelief that they are free Black Masons. Is it possible for a man to be free while his women and children are slaves? Those that are public figures, example given, church leaders, CEOs, and heads of various groups and clubs by day, but are lodge brothers by night, hopefully will take heed. Especially our sun-kissed brothers of the Boulay Society, the Prince Hall and John Belmont Masons et al. It will be written in honor of the high principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. This chapter is to activate thought and secure enlightenment. Although its nature is of purity and love, being the author that I am makes me fully conscious of why the darkest hour is just before dawn. The idea of this chapter is to at least give my brothers by law a conscious choice between freedom and slavery. The free only makes choices because they have been supplied with the power of discrimination between truth and falsehood. This chapter on Freemasonry gives them the truthful side of the world's greatest secret society, which has been forbidden for them to know. Nevertheless, to reiterate the chief pillar of this book, the revealing of an American-born prophet and his gigantic missionary work in the exhuming of a nation. Number one, if you claim Black, Negro, colored, African American, etc. as an identity. Two, if you as a people have no proof of national or sovereign existence in the world court, the UN, the US Congress, or by US Supreme Court decision, or three, if you cannot trace yourselves or free yourselves beyond being subjects to the jurisdiction of the 14th and 15th Amendments, or four, if you know Ruth and Yehoshua were in through Moabite/Canaanite descent and look like you in your Tuesday lodge and support the European image/image of them in Sunday church, then with all due respect and love, you too are equal parts of the 60 million Black people burial problem. Five, the true purpose of so-called Black Freemasonry is to be secret overseers for European rulers and gods of the West over their enslaved people. Their sole purpose is to keep their wives, mothers, sisters, children, and other men of hue subjugated by ceilings to religion, economy, and judicial and political structures. They are used today as correctly English-attired house slaves were used in those days. And they actually believe that they have a secret that they can't tell, albeit those who do not know hold the lowest depth of slavery, they are slaves. Don't throw this book down yet. Just the same, Black Masons may very well be the tiller or muftee of your people's hour of dawn. Truth is, there will have to be some of us at the entrance when the inevitable light comes in. If not you, then who? Someone had to write this book. If not me, then who? The Black Masons have key leadership roles in the exhuming of their nation, but they too must be decontaminated, free from wearing falsehood outerwear upon the body of an unknown nation. If not, they will only misguide their people back into the iron hand of oppression. I still must remember the words of Prophet Noble Drew Ali when he said, preachers and Masons will be the last ones to accept the truth. The intricacies of Black Freemasonry need to be discussed, primarily because their fraternal orders are basically exact duplicates to the European originals. They use identical 3 degrees, 32 side degrees into Shriners, symbols, rituals, oath, hand grips, holy books, passwords, signs of recognition, etc., as does the unfeigned Mason. There are, however, 3 basic exceptions that create a permanent hiatus between true Masons and their quote-unquote made in America Black clandestine parodies. There are firm reasons to why true Freemasons call Black Masons my shadows. 1, it is best to start at the beginning. Freemasonry, as aforementioned, was not designed for the African man, parentheses, slave or free. Rather, it was constituted about him. True Masons are the chief protectors of the European 2,000-year rule of the world. They are the sworn, parentheses, Templar, Knight of the Round Table, and Tirers of the Crown. They are there to subjugate the peoples of color to man's government as superior to the Africans' unseen God's dominion over the earth. Pale-skin Masonry is in the resemblance of African Egyptian mastery, but is very limited and earthbound. Western conquests rely upon who has the control of carnal LAW. The word law is compiled of 3 of the 5 elements, minus fire and ether, parentheses spirit. The word law is the abbreviation for land, air, and water. L equals land, A equals air, W equals water, spells law. He who controls the law is God. Islam. So at this time, I want to turn the meeting back into the hands of our National Assistant Grand Sheikh of Moorish America, Dr. Shedu Amenti and Mohamed Shepsuel. Islam?
Islamism. Can you hear me, goddess and queen?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
Gratitude. Praise be to Allah. Islamism without the schism. Well, having already risen and given praises to the great God Allah and honors to his holy prophet, honors to our holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, El-Hajj Sharif Abdul Ali, that is. We want to give honors to the scribes once again on the manifest. You know, this is a grand measure that we have to bring forth to our Moorish kin. As you know, we always have revelations that are constantly unfolding when it comes to the truth, because the truth is the only thing that changes not. The only thing that brings the truth back more powerful is the cycle of the unfoldment as the truth returns, you know, round by round, so to speak. You know, and I went into that particular area right there because we know that when it comes to the teachings of being able to uplift a people, no one has ever demonstrated this greater than Kemet. We know everybody that, you know, study anything, claim to be a part and parcel of anything in this new era and time, most of their teachings, indirectly or directly, come straight from Kemet. We already know the imitation brand, you know, of masonry that the European came up with as well. And this is part of the reason why our people are just coming into insight, as opposed to, you know, really knowing themselves. Our people are still dilly-dallying, so to speak. So I got a drawing I want to show our family, something I came across that's relevant to, you know, the language. We got a little ground to cover, but I want to start it off with this particular drawing, since we spoke on, you know, what the real death and the burial represented, who the African God man is, was, and evermore shall be. And I just got a whole bunch of drawings I was bringing forth, and I was supposed to actually give this as a presentation, and I still will. I ended up drawing with our family the day before yesterday. I think it was, you know, and I was building with some of our family, and we was talking about breaking the veil and lifting the veil and breaking the Roman seal. You know, that was the foundation of the measure, and we was able to reach our family very well, so to speak. But I want to show you something, family. This is something that is crazy, how people take our symbols, and if you don't know no better, you won't even know what you're looking at. So let me do this real quick. Trying to get this window up here. Before I do that, I'm gonna just do the entire screen. That way I can go back to what I need to go to, and I ain't got to keep going in and out. Okay, there we go. And if you've been watching my page, you probably seen this picture right here, because this picture is really covering everything that our chairman was just talking about in the Book of Fire. But there's something greater at work here. You know, now we've seen certain things here in this particular picture. This is one of the favorite Masonic pictures that they have out here. We know that often it's us in the casket. You know, even though they're trying to put a pale-skinned expression of the brother Yehoshua there, we know the real African God man is the one that really put in that particular coffin, so to speak. And you can see the 5-pointed open star rising out with the eye there, you know, synonymous with the concept of the spirit. But the deepest aspect of this is that looking in here, they actually hid some Kemetic symbols in here, right here to be exact. We know the acacia tree, as it was mentioned in the read, you know, it's indigenous to Africa. So that lets you know who really was in the casket, so to speak. But these symbols here are tools from ancient Kemet. I'm gonna blow it up a little bigger so y'all can see it. And there you go right there at the top. This is a chisel. This, they calling this is you know, in the Kemetic language, they call it a hoe. You know, in other words, something that you toil in the soil with. And there it is right there in the hands of the builders. Notice they moving obelisks around, right? Now, it's something interesting about the way they moving them obelisks, because we know them obelisks are very big over there. And for them to be moving obelisks like that and they tall as the obelisk, that may be telling us something about the makeup of the stature of our family in Kemet as well, you know, which we know that there are some very large people here and there throughout the world, but that's a whole nother measure. I want to talk about these tools here because they are featured, you know, if you go into the ancient Kemetic anaglyphs. And so, you know, when I seen that right there, I automatically seen metaphysics and everything else. And so you can see them right here. Take a look at it. Now, one looking at the picture, not knowing no better, wouldn't know what they're looking at. There you go. That's your chisel right there. That's your hole right there, as they call it. So here it is right here. If you take a look at that. Look at this. Now, what is the transliteration of this? Because we see the hieratic, you know, that's on the manifest here. The transliteration here, one is mir and one is mir-ab, right? We know mir deals with love, you know, and we see here mir along with heart deals with love that is within the heart. So what I did, I took these symbols, you know, there they go right there, and I transliterated through the hieratic, you know, a meaning. So this would be the hieratic letter converted from the anaglyph. And then that's it right there as well. And then you have a star, and this is actually the hieratogram that's actually dealing with the coffin. So this is the star, and you seen the star up here, and then you have the coffin. You see? So I said, man, that's a powerful demonstration there. And if you look here, I made a statement, trying to get it right here. There it is. I made a statement in reference to this because I put it together, you know, in expressive form, you know, and it's actually Kursu Sabah Mir Abmir, which means let the dead bury the dead, and the wisdom teachings of love will endure within your heart forever. And so what I'm saying is that our people have been taught that this was their God, this pale Eurocentric Jesus. Like I said, now they covering up who the African God man is and want you to believe it's them that's sacrificing their life for you, or whatever the case may be, right? But going into the essence of it, we see that if we basically let the dead bury their dead, you know, that concept they've been trying to push us in dealing with Yehoshua, then the wisdom teachings of love will really endure in our heart once we come into a clear conception of who we are and that we are the ones that we've been waiting on. You see? And so I went on to say, I see everything. You couldn't hoodwink me if you tried. Look closely and tell me what you see. And so we put it out there to our family. Every time we come up with something, it's a grand drawing. But the grand essence of that special measure is like, wow, they literally put some Egyptian symbols, you know, in this demonstration right there in plain sight. But if you don't know what you're looking at, and I wasn't even looking for it, it just jump out at you, you know, when you're studying, you know, man, I tell you, I'm gonna give you another drawing as well. I want to make sure, yeah, my thing is still, because this right here, like I said, is for, supposed to be for a show where we trying to teach the people. We going abroad teaching the people. Y'all know how we do it in social media. This is what I wanted to point out right here. I've showed this to our family a few times. Now, there's a great secret. You know, this great seal is not for us. It's actually about us. In fact, you see Napoleon standing here because he was the one that actually took masonry into Egypt. But behind him is a pyramid, 72 stones on it, and it has no capstone. It's unfinished. It's incomplete. And this was all trying to bite off of ancient Kemet. So what this pyramid really symbolizes here is something that you're going to be able to see in a second. But there's something hidden behind this pyramid that represent the condition of our people. And I'm going to show you what it is. We hear our family talking about it all the time. You hear the brother Muhammad Bey talking about the Northwestern Cemetery. You know, and if you know, you go into it, there's a shape to where it's shaped like the United States. But if you notice on this plan or this plot of the Giza Plateau, you know, in ancient Egypt, this is one of the biggest of the pyramids, the three. See, all of them are featured here. See, A, B, and C, from the largest to the smallest. So they would have you believe that this pyramid is basically what they are expressing again here in their great seal of the dollar bill. So if this represents a cemetery behind the Great Pyramid, you know, which deals with the Western cemetery, so to speak, there's something for us to learn. See here, Pyramid of Khufu and the Western cemetery behind that. So if they claim the pyramid, then they got to claim what's behind that. Now we know that's a cemetery in ancient Kemet, but it ain't strange that it comes in the same shape and expression now. It ain't strange. See that there? I put the silhouette or the outline of the United States around this. You know, the same expression there. I'm showing that there's a people that's buried behind the Masonic pyramid. And it's basically our people. Just as there's a cemetery behind that great pyramid, if there's a cemetery behind the one that Napoleon's standing in front of as Inspector General, right? Making sure that the body, remains where it is, so to speak. And it was only until recently that our chairman was able to come on the manifest and teach you how to exhume a nation. And the purpose of exhumation or exhuming has to do with, in most cases, where some foul play has been discovered. One has found out that one didn't die from natural causes, somebody killed them. And many people may have had a hand. It could be a whole conspiracy. But the symbolism that we just gave our family is deadly. Because if there's a cemetery behind this pyramid in the West, then who you think the corpse are? Who do you think is in that valley of dry bones, so to speak? And who do you think is able to make them live? Ooh-wee. Our people got to come up out of that. And now notice, this is actually running parallel with the bondage of our people. It also has to do with the journey that our people came along the way as ones was being trafficked, as property, so to speak, as human trafficking was taking place. I'm trying to find this other slide up here I had in relation to dealing with this. Well, we ain't even got to really find it because I don't think I put it on this one right here. But what I'm dealing with is the 33rd degree north parallel. And that's actually, did I put it up here? Let's see. I put the coordinates up here. Yeah, I put the coordinates up here dealing with that. And there's some information hidden behind that as well. If you know anything about the coordinates, Morocco is located within the latitude and longitude of 32 degrees in North Africa, right? And then there's another portion in Morocco, because I don't want to go into all, this reading, because I want to get into our other measure, but I want to get its history to our family. There's another portion in Morocco known as the Middle Atlas. And that Middle Atlas is on the 33rd degree, when it comes to dealing with the coordinates. And what's going on is that if you look at the map, this is the location here, right? Our sister Dendra spoke before of this being almost symbolic to a skull. Like this would be the frontal of it then, right? So if this is Morocco, what happened when one is enslaved under the hand of Western Freemasonry? Because they covered every place that you can go to. This would be the point through which the equatorial line crosses over all the way coming into the Americas. And so it was those who were in Morocco who actually participated in aiding and abetting the European in the process of enslaving the true Moors. You see? So that's what that 33rd North parallel represent. And if this line goes all the way around the globe, and everywhere it runs through a particular place where certain events took place, they say, well, Kennedy was assassinated on the 33rd parallel north. It's a lot of different things. If you do the research, you'll find out about this. A lot of dark things took place. So it ain't strange that along those lines coming from this particular area, some of our people being taken in bondage, well, this was all a part of us being the secret. And this actually shows you what happened to the African god man, codename Hiram Abeth. He was took on the westernly course. They say that in the story, right? Man, that's crazy. But it ain't no strange happenings. So yeah, check it out, family. when you get a chance to look this stuff up, and you'll see who was really being buried. You see? And I said this before. I said the 33rd parallel north is a circle of latitude that is 33 degrees north of the Earth's equatorial plane. It crosses North Africa and the Atlantic Ocean onto the shores of North America along the paths of the transatlantic slave trade on a dead level of 33 degrees, where crimes of body theft and human trafficking and denationalization were committed to ensure the enslavement of unproclaimed Moorish American nationals forever and a day. However, due to global warming, the ice caps of consciousness are beginning to melt as a result of the Moors entering the fulfillment age of man. Hence, the question, right? This is why Moorish adepts, it says, are seamen and wayfarers. It says, who circumnavigate from the east to the west and back again, 360 degrees, whereas European masonry only allows you to travel as a landman along the course of your enslavement from east to west on a path, right, that ends at 33 degrees. Where the African godman, codenamed Hiram Abiff, was taken on a westerly course and buried in a shallow grave of assumable jurisdiction upon these shores. Now, this is just my little input, that I was able to see, but when you go into those special teachings that our Holy Prophet gave us, as I said, you go back to the questions that was asked, then you understand when you deal with question 33, what the moderate name for a Mexim is, and we're dealing with African, we see why we touch on the African God, man. That's a whole nother measure, family. It's just a powerful drawing to be able to recognize our history and know exactly what happened and know how our people are being misled. So now that we can teach them to be themselves, lastly and not least, if you think that's what's the difference between these two settings here? One represents where Roman law is actually being utilized, and one actually represents how our system, has been hijacked and utilized when it comes to dealing with the teachings of our ancestors. So this is a lodge, and this is a Supreme Court building, so to speak. Both of them have something in common. The judge sit in the east. So just as one is initiated in this particular demonstration and a European demonstration, when they go through them courts and walk through these little double doors here, they actually going on the reenactment of being hit in the head. Our people anyway. It ain't strange when they bang the gavel, that's pretty much it. So we also know that we told you that Kemet fell after the last pharaoh was present, which is 360 BC. Now this actually represents the last living pharaoh. Nectanebo is what they call it. And if you look here, notice they have beheaded, the Heru bird. And the Heru bird, with him coming from between it, represented protection. So to behead, Heru, which represents the spirit, because this is actually the full form of it. That's Nectanebo there. But you see the whole piece is here, and he has the district crown on. He's ruling over something. He's ruling over lower and upper Kemet. That's what those heads, that's him right here too, Nectanebo, and you see he has a scimitar in his hand. That's the confess right there. But the good brother fought a good fight, but he couldn't defeat you know, all of those who had invaded the land. So another point, this is also a picture of Amen, you know, giving the scimitar out, and Amen also had the scimitar here. You see? This is, you know, one being crowned. This is where the Europeans get their ceremony from, talking about fez and somebody. This is where the crowning came from. You know, notice one is being crowned with the Atef. And you see our star. Now, they just opened this up recently, created this little lodge for Negroes. You see that what they got on the headdress, and guess where that's at? That's in North Carolina. Now, do people think it's by chance that these people have established, you know, this group of Shriners? I'm talking about the last couple of years, about 3-4 years, maybe not even that long, maybe a little over 2. And they have Ali there. These people know what they're doing now. Trust me when I tell you that. You know, meaning they know the truth, but they want to bury the truth, you know, under the lie. And so you see all these different headdresses. They got Mecca, Allah, Islam, Kaaba, Ali, Muhammad, Medina, Egyptian, Muslim, Quran. You know, they even got the name Allah upside down here in the Jews. See, this is where you have people making mockery, you know, of our people. I'm saying this because signs and symbols of a conscious mind in men and women of understanding. And so being that we can see all of this and all of that that has been done, it all makes sense now. And this is why I say we got to lift the veil and break the Roman seal of secrecy, you know, and expose what they have done with the African God man's legacy. Look at that. Notice I say Muslim, if you don't accept it, the European will rep it. Look at them. They can care less about Islam. Got a Quran in their closet and everything. They done swore on it. But you have people that want to mock the Moors for being Moor. They'll mock the headdress of the Moors. Look at that bucket hat you got on your, all types of old foolishness. You know what I mean? So, yeah, everything is exposed. Everything they try to take, even their flag and their colors really don't belong to them either. So I wonder where they got that from. Ancient Kemet. This is one actually, this is one, a coffin or a sarcophagus, so to speak, you know, with a mummified body in it, being moved on a boat, or what they call the solar bark. You see the stripes, and this is actually blue. So where did they really get that old glory? They call it old glory. We know that ain't old glory. We know what the real old glory come from. But yeah, so you see them bearing ones at sea. But these ones are moving this body through the waterway as well. It's at the edge of, you know, the land right here, as you can see. But it ain't strange. It ain't strange, family. Somebody always trying to remix something and steal something. You know, that's what they've been doing all their lives when it comes to our people. Even when they go into their so-called Grand Lodge, when you look up in the ceiling, this is what you see. You see that right there? Look at that. I wonder what that is. And then right across from it, you already know what that is. Then right there at the bottom, even though they got Euclid there and Pythagoras, we also know where they're coming from with that crescent moon. They want you to believe that they demonstrating a universal measure similar to what we demonstrate in our charter Islamism. Then they got here basically it's the Solomon and the Hiram degree right here, which is their lodge and all that. So what I'm showing you, family, is that our people's enslavement is veiled in allegory. In the same way it is veiled in allegory You know, they got this symbolic teaching from our people. It take a mastermind to be able to come through here and expose this madness. See, that's what I was saying about that other. You couldn't really see it; it was blurry. But yeah, they really did a number on our people. They really did a number on our people. So now that we know what's going on, you can't deceive us no more. Because we see, this is just showing you what 33 degrees is coming out of circle. Well, what about all the rest of the circle over here? Well, when you come over here, you get 360 degrees. If you're dealing with the full circle, but if you only got pi there, we ain't talking about pi that gave you the ability to build a pyramid. We talking about the type of pi that ain't good for you anyway. So yeah, all this stuff is European supremacy. This is the symbol of the Byzantine Empire, the double-headed, file. This was the shield of the Holy Roman Empire. Notice they had the same symbol. And then obviously, when you come over here to Western Freemasonry, they got the same seal. So this is the real symbol of Eurocentric supremacy, because they are not the only ones. There are other people out there that are part of European nation that's demonstrating that same symbol. Now, ain't that something? That's terrible, Moishkin. That's terrible. And actually, this is the Roman seal too, by the way, for those who don't know. That's what the real Roman seal looked like. And so when I talk about lifting the veil and breaking the Roman seal, all I can say is goodness gracious. It's a terrible situation. So we masterminds Moorish kin, and we here to give our people the truth and uplift them. So we just wanted to bring that forth in the light of what the chairman stated, and everything it is that he brought on the manifest, because we give honors to the book of fire and everything. Man, our ancestors were the truth when you deal with Kemet. I mean, just look at this right here, for example. This is one of the creations of looking at Kemet from an aerial view, from as if you was elevated above it. Same type of picture the other was. And there's similarities between this, and energy boards, so to speak. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. Let me mash play right here because I didn't get a chance right there. You see that right there? Watch what's superimposed over it. And I'm going to hit it again so you can see again. See it start out, and that's an actual board, a motherboard. But I put that there to show you how this is fading out. Let me see. I can move this out the way you can see the whole thing. So you mean to tell me that the motherboard is built off of the layout of Giza, the Giza Plateau? Look at that. Everything in there just alike. But computers didn't exist back then. See, we can't make this stuff up. And this is what most of the computer chip, the main chips, look like. And look at how close that resembles the Osirian complex in Kemet, right? So this lets you know that people are definitely taken from our ancestors and trying to incorporate it in a certain way. Just as our ancestors built certain things. And only those who's supposed to be in the knowing of these things know what's going on. They are hiding your history. Everything has been hidden. All the way back down to the language. And we know that even the language comes straight up out of Kemet. Everything. Every book you can think of. The Pert M. Heru came forth from the Metal Ray in Kemet. The Torah came forth from Metal Netta. The Quran came forth from Second Insha, or what we call the Mahdi. And the biblical text came forth from the Hecopter, the Coptic text. Everything came out of Kemet. Man, we can go a little further into this family, but we don't, intend to do a whole bill on this, but we covered the majority of this special drawing, and we just want our people to see what's going on, because even when you look at these exotic maps here, you can see all these names that are referring to places: Palestine, Moab, Gibraltar, goodness gracious, Egypt, Tunisia, Tunis, pardon self, Sudan, Greece. So in all actuality, if you are dealing with the original people from these lands that's mentioned on this exotic map, this whole people, meaning our ancestors coming from these places into the West, which will make people say, well, this is really over here. The cemetery is over here. This is where we buried at. Our true link to the land is buried under what they call the United States. And that's what created the assumable jurisdiction. So when you look at this map, this exotic map, these are towns that actually exist. And all of them in some type of way has something to do with where our people was enslaved or where they come from. So yeah. And then they buried them not under only what they calling it now, but they even use this as a aspect of corporate governance. So-called Native American culture. Another means of throwing more dirt over our people. So I said that to say this. After going through all that right there, we should know better. And when you know better, you can do better. So when you hear us up here teaching, and we going into the language and so forth and so on, like we getting ready to do, know that we doing this for you people. We doing this for you people. Those who are listening to us and the scribes that are here on this panel. We doing this for you all. So you ain't gonna be able to get the truth nowhere else but here. Not the way we bring it, because we don't sugarcoat nothing. So Islamism without the schism. What I'm gonna do at this particular time, before I go further into this measure, I want to hear from my scribes, my family, my brothers and sisters, and Moorish Americans, see what it is they have to give on what we have presented just thus far, based upon, as it relates to the Book of Fire and what we read from there too. Then we'll move forward. Islam. Islam, grand man.
Islam.
Brother,
Islam. Praise and honor is previously given. And I've seen, a lot of people fall. They come to the teachings, they get the teachings, and then they fall from wanting to be a part of a group that has the semblance of power. And the whole time, what I love about these teachings is that it's you. It's all about you. How you use it, how you absorb it, when you use it, how efficient are you with that information. And there's a lot of things that I still don't know. But there's a lot about myself that I don't have to, exhume from that nation that's within me, even in that sense. And, I just, I enjoyed it, the path, what we're doing, creating the language. And for anybody that would rather go back or you got this keen ambition that making you want to start your own thing because you think that you can do something better. I've been taught by a lot of people, and I've never been taught this in depth and have it's like this. Even the students are teachers in this fold. Every divine minister that's in this fold here also teaches. So we it's a lifetime student thing, and what you would I'm also going to say what you would have to pay in school, and all you what you have to pay for this in school, you be in debt forever. There wouldn't be no you couldn't pay for it because it will cost too much. And the only thing here you got to do is really pay attention, you know. And if we ain't seeing by now that it's on us to pull us up, and we out here, there's people still want to claim the Negro, black, and colored, because of what some European done told you about yourself, or you're a 14th Amendment citizen, because what the European done told you about yourself. I don't know what to tell you. You can't go on being black. You can't go on being colored. You can't be African American. You can't believe. You can't be foundational Black American. You can't be none of those things because they ain't got no saving power. If anybody's telling you you're black, even if they look like you, they are a part of the problem, and they got some other agenda to it. This government been on the manifest for the chairman been demonstrating government since the 70s. So if he been demonstrating government since the 70s, the prophet been doing this since 1913. You know what I'm saying? He been doing this since 1913. The chairman been doing this since 1970. You know what I'm saying? We have our own government, and then y'all still want to play with this government. But yeah, that's all I got to say. Islam, peace and love.
And Islam, peace and love, brother, for that drawing. Gratitude. And yeah, they coming round. You can believe that, Graham, man. They coming round. Islam. All right. Islam. Next scribe.
Islam.
Islam, goddess.
Islam. Dr. Danger and E.A.R.S debate. Honors has already been given. And I concur with the God man, Dr. Bati Bay. And I would just like to add too, and I like Dr. Shahid, how you showing us some of those symbols I'm familiar with, and some of them I wasn't, and how you just breaking it down, and especially the reading that we had that our chairman penned in the Zooming of a Nation, and our prophet told us, he said he was pulling the cover off of all of it. And there are no secrets no more. And the chairman just put it all the truth out there. And see, the reason this really witnessed to me, because before I knew, when I was in Christianity, me and my husband, I can remember, we wanted to be a part of the Masons. He wanted to be a Mason. I wanted to be an Easter Star. I didn't know, but because we thought and we heard about how they could get you out of trouble and stuff like that. And so we wanted to be a part of that. And that was big, down here where I'm at in the South, the Masons and stuff, that was big. I remember even in the church, when somebody would make their transition, oh man, and if they was a Mason, oh man, they would turn out. They would have them little aprons on, and they would come in there and turn their little ways and stuff. We was impressed. We was impressed with that. Not but we didn't know no better. The prophet say, "I forgive you for everything you did when you didn't know me." And but see, that was the only help we thought that was out there. And like Brother Barty Bay was saying, this teaching has been on the scene, but number one, they kept it from us, and number two, like Dr. Shahi, you was saying how they they keep the truth from us. Now I know I did things in ignorance, and when you do it in ignorance, still there's no excuse for ignorance of the law. But I remember when we was in the Piscean area, say you be with a few stripes. But when you know, and then you deliberately deceiving me, you see, you're gonna be whipped with many stripes. And our people, and I've heard they know the truth. They know what they doing. A lot of these big ministries and stuff, they know what they doing, but yet they still is perpetrating this lie. They still is allowing you to call yourself Black, Negro, African American. It's African Americans now, pretty much. You don't hear Negro no more too much like that. But it's those names, and you still referring to yourself as those names, family. You know, and they ain't telling you the truth. You doomed. Prophet Noble Drew Ali say those are names that were given to us by the slaveholders. He said his nationality is Moorish American. And he say our nationality is Moorish American, not Black. God didn't make you Black. God didn't make them white either, because they pale skin. White is this background in my computer. I haven't seen nobody look like that white. They pale. And in my other part of my computer is Black. Ain't nobody. I ain't seen nobody that color. So and this is just a grand class, as always. Dr. Shaheed, you putting it out there. And family, I just encourage you, do your research. Go back, and if you ain't got that Zooming of a Nation, call headquarters and get that book, because I tell you, everything you need to know is in there. And we give honors to you, God man, and gratitude for letting me share. That's all I have to say. Islam, peace and love.
Islam, peace and love, goddess and queen. We give honors to you for that measure. Praise be to Allah. Goodness gracious. Islamism. All right. We have any other would like to come forth and give a measure? Scribes. Islam, Chairman.
It's Islamism without the schism. Man. Whew. Allah give honor to Prophet Noble Drew Ali. It's so much honor to Noble Drew Ali for bringing us everything it takes to save ourselves as a nation. I mean, he brought us our flag, our government out. Oh, man. I am so pumped. Well, I'm proud of you, Moors. I really am, because you've come a long, long way. A long, long way. And just to know who your forefathers were, it means that you know who you are today. For you to know what an angel is and to have pride, and oh man, I was just totally thrown just by writing the title to the book, The Exhuming of a Nation. The Exhuming of a Nation, digging it up, throwing it out there. It's alive, well, and kicking. It's got a history. It's got some truth. It's going somewhere. But oh man, more, I love you, and thank you so much. Praise Allah for you. Peace and blessings.
Islamism, we give honors to you as well, Chairman. We love you, especially for everything you're doing and all that you have done and all that you will continue to do. Goodness gracious. And we've been putting the message out there, and they waking up now. A lot of the same one that when they said, they like, man, we got to get out, because I'm bragging and boasting again on that Exhuming of a Nation. I'm like, y'all better get it. It's one of the best books ever written when it talked about some real manumission. Because you got people, they be holding up a lot of those symbols of Rome, and thinking that got something to do with us. Oh, yeah, it got something to do with us being enslaved. We the one that's hid behind it. You know what I mean? And so we exposing the truth, and Praise be to Allah for the book of fire. You know, burning up falsehood. I always say root and branch. Islam to the tribe of endurance. Goodness gracious. All right. All right, scribes. Islam.
Islam.
Islam, Grand National Secretary of the State.
Islam, having already risen and given praise and honor where due, just speaking from a mode of gratitude for this class, Dr. Shaheed, and to all of my Moorish kin on the panel, also to our National Grand Chairman of Act One. This has been a very powerful class, and just looking at it from the aspect of how our history, culture, language was dealing with being remixed, stolen, hidden, buried, or what have you, giving honor to the chairman for bringing forth the Book of Fire. And I tell you, Moorish Ken, I can recall in typing it, it's almost like eyes popping out the head. Where are we going to live? Oh my gracious. You got to be kidding me. The Dr. Nefertiti and myself, we got to get on the island somewhere. But that was all part of unfoldment and dealing with the level of growth and Allah blessing one in the forms of degrees. Because I can remember when we were in the Moorish Science Temple of America having one of the meetings in Chicago, and they wanted us to attend Sisters Auxiliary meeting. Now, Dr. Nefertiti and myself were in Moorish garb as far as turban, prophet pantaloons or what have you. And they wanted us to put on what looked like to me a white nurse's uniform, at the kneecaps. Now, see, me being an Islamic sister, I'm looking at, halfway with the shin or below. I'm not looking at putting on something at the kneecap so when you sit down it rises up. No, that to me was not modest. And also they wanted to have a brother in the sisters meeting. And so when the chairman was revealing that, in essence, that was a Masonic setup, I wasn't trying to hear that noise, and I bucked. I'm not going to no meeting where I have to come out my Islamic garb and look like demonstrate on the level of Christianity. So it was those aspects and degrees then that also led to my unfoldment in reference to the burying of the prophet's laws, and just taking it back to the spirit of Western Freemasonry in reference to whether one has joined a lodge or not. If you're still demonstrating the levels of even being able to discern with one speech in reference to we don't want to give them the whole thing. It's all too great for them. Let's feed, you don't want to feed a baby steak and things of that nature to try to keep the truth buried, as opposed to when the prophet came. I'm grateful for him bringing the truth, whether I had paradigm shifts or not, as it still gave me the opportunity to be able to make a conscious decision. When you are demonstrating under the level of Negro, Black, and colored, you don't have options. You don't have choices. You going along to get along. And it's so much fear and doubt, trouble, thoughts, etc. So in coming into this Moorish American government and being on our E.A.R.S class and being able to, uncover the dirt, in reference to what is ours, that automatically brings about a race pride, and I tell you, when I first was reading the Book of Fire and also in these special classes, Dr. Shaheed, I'm not going to sit here and say that there was not anger or, a little sadness in reference to what has been done to us as a people. But the thing is, you either going to sink by this or you're going to rise and recognize the fact now that the pen is in your hands or the mic is before you. You're either going to make a stand and stand for Allah and the Prophet, or you're not. So because of what our ancestors have gone through and suffered for and things of that nature, we want to make sure that our children's children don't go through the same demonstrations that we had to go through, seeking and searching for the truth. And if you in a cave, no light, state of unconsciousness, you, even if it was right in front of you, it's going over your head because you haven't been enlightened to that special truth. So these degrees, the pictures brought forth just to see the magnanimous task that Prophet Noble Drew Ali had before him, and now we had before us, with the Prophet working with us on the soul plane, is such a grand demonstration. And in gratitude, I'm going to stand, for what the Prophet has brought for me and my people, So this is just a magnanimous task, but it's also a joyous one to be able to function now, consciously recognizing who we are, being a spirit and a part of the great God Allah, and also Moorish American National. So gratitude more for these special lessons, and much peace and love to all of my Moorish kin.
And Islamism Grand National Secretary of State, that's a powerful measure. And yeah, like you said, we gonna either sink or swim. Ain't no need in running. I was telling who that was, one of our Moorish kin recently. I say, whether our people know it or not, I say you can run. You can come however you come. But at the end of the day, you can't run from you on one aspect. And a lot of our people fear what's going to be done to them if they speak the truth. And I say, well, how much harder can you die? Because you got some people, they got them scared. You can be doing nothing and Rome take you off the count, just moving through the terrain. So what you worried about talking about somebody going, if I go to building my government, man, they going to come after me. Because, we have some people, I done had some people literally argue me down. Man, we ain't going to be able to do it. I'm telling you, ain't, man, them people going to kill us. We need a military, and all that foolishness. And I say, man, do y'all understand that when you being guided by divinity, you ain't got to worry about that type of stuff? And my thing is, why is it, that one get to thinking like that right there? When we talk about doing something, you thinking about the worst that's going to happen. And that's why we can't never unfold, because people always worry about what's going to happen if they do something. You know what it is to live your life in fear like that right there? I don't know how to be like that. Praise be to Allah. I just wasn't made that way. I know my chairman wasn't made that way. My sheik wasn't made that way. The goddesses, in the tribe of endurance. And a lot of the Moors that's online, but some of our people in that comatose state, they scared to think free. They looking around. Wait a minute, I done thought a free thought. Is they coming? So praise be to Allah for the strong Moors, as the prophet say, upright, independent, and fearless. Gratitude for that measure. Goodness gracious, I'm stirred up over here. My pant leg rolled up too. I know my chairman is good as both, man. Islam. Well, all right. Brother Marvin Edwards Bay.
Islam.
Grand man.
Gratitude. Very powerful class. Some Dr. Marvin Edwards Bay out of Texas Consulate. Praise and honor have been given. This is a very powerful class, and I really look forward to this class, in all of its unfoldment, especially when we go into this book of fire. I think about when I first got this book, before I got to the Moorish American government, it was like, the light was just too bright. You know what I mean? And I'm so grateful that, being in the Moorish American government, being fortunate, being blessed to have arrived, at our Moorish American government. This is a blessing. And like I say, ain't no happenings. It's not, it wasn't haphazard. Everything is designed. My whole life was designing and guiding me here, and so, and as we go into these lessons, it's so much to be learned, and there's so much that is contained in our book of fire, And this class, and this E.A.R.S class, it's really preparing us because there's so much that's like you were showing. You know what I mean? There are so many signs and symbols that is right in our face, and we don't even know. You know what I mean? We can't even recognize. But here we are getting the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding through our diligent study. You know what I mean? To recognize what's been hidden, and you know what I mean. And there was a fear. I mean, that's what kept us in that enslavement, the fear. You know what I mean? But once we get the truth, that fear dissipates. You know what I mean? The truth is that light that shines over the darkness. You know what I mean? So that we can recognize, so we can see our way. You know what I mean? We can recognize the footsteps that the prophet had brought us. I mean, it's just such a beautiful thing to be alive today. In our Morse American government. I had I had a talk with an ex-wife last night. She was showing me some pictures of my grandsons and stuff, and I'm just thinking, like when I do get a chance, because I wasn't around them, but just to think that I'm going to have to, go to them and at least, let them know. You know what I mean? It's up to them, as any other Moors that I meet. If they don't know, you know what I mean? But at least they know. At least they have heard of the truth. You know what I mean? And then it's up to them. But we know that the spirit is within each and every one of us. And once we get that truth, once we hear it, then there's a process that takes place. You know what I mean? There's an exhuming taking place. You know what I mean? But of course, they have to come to this Morse American government to fully get the understanding. You know what I mean? But just being a part of this divine and national movement, it just makes one so grateful. It makes me so grateful to be a part of it. You know what I mean? I just strive so hard to elevate. You know what I mean? To fully grasp what's at hand. That hand is indicative of the mind. So I'm just so grateful for being here, and I say gratitude for you, National Assistant Grand Chief, for all that you do, Grand National Secretary of the State, our Grand Chairman, Grand Chief, all of our officials, everyone on this panel, Katara, Anpu, Anibati Bey, Dr. Dendra Ania Curta Bey, those faithful ones. I mean, all of our Morris kin are faithful. You know what I mean? But we're taking a strategic stride, so to speak. And I just say, gratitude. And another thing I want to speak on when you were talking about the constant revelations as the truth unfolds. As we come into this truth, as the truth unfolds, there's a constant revelation. Which is a beautiful thing. Say praise Allah, and gratitude for sending us a prophet. And with that, I say gratitude for allowing me to speak. Islam and peace.
It's Islam and gratitude, Brother Marvin Edwards Bey. You give honors to your grand man for that droid. Praise be to Allah. Yes, sir. And so, we just have to remind our family out there sometime, of that we are not the enemy. The Moors are not the enemy. And they waking up, like I said. I had a conversation with some brothers a few days ago, right there out there in the media. And they were very well more perceptive than they had been, prior to. And they like, man, I ain't know, man, y'all be bringing this information like this. You've been sitting there the whole while. But sometimes it take our people to really get it. And that's how you do it. You drop it, keep it moving, don't even worry about it. They're going to come around. So the goal is waking ones up and letting them know what happened to them. Because some of our people that have no clue. Despite everything they done read or what they done heard, they have no idea as to what a nationality is, what a government is, and even thinking like that. Because they want to, they so busy trying to vote their way out I ain't seen that happen yet. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's something else. I was telling one brother, I say, brother, you know, because he was trying to challenge me with his atheism. And I say, brother, you know, the only reason you feel like that, you know, as you feel you don't believe in God is because you don't believe in yourself. You know, because God is in you. The question is not, do he exist? The question is where is he? In you. You see? And so when you get that special drawing and you really know it and you be that, then you can't help but be a conqueror. You know, so praise be to Allah. Can't nobody come with no piece of pie. We ain't seen it fall out the sky anyway, you know, yet. But anyway, yeah, that's a grand drawing, family. What I want to do, it ain't gonna be long. But we gotta measure, we got other tools up here, family, in relation to dealing with what we have. Praise be to Allah. We got all the tools, really, we already had them. But if we keep coming across them, ain't nothing wrong with coming across them and having a few more. So let me open up this screen real quick. Because all these things here, that's what I want to go over. Actually, the tool even explains itself as well. They got videos, but they actually linking up to what we already have. A lot of them literally have links to the same tools that we've been using. Let me make sure this thing here. Am I gonna have to kill the whole? Okay, now I want to lock up all of a sudden. I'm gonna give it a second here, and then once I get a chance to open it, look like I'm finna have to kill this particular link right here. I'm gonna close it real quick and then reopen it, and then that'll refresh it. That way it ain't freezing up on us. You know, Rome ain't built nothing to last, including these apparatuses. Okay, so look like we got some activity going on now. I got so many tabs over here though. That's probably why it's doing that. But nevertheless, we got a new tool not only to deal with what we got going on with the hieratic, but this is actually dealing with the demotic. We got a tool with the demotic, and it actually linked right back up into everything that we got, and that's what we want to show our family. Dealing with this language, man, we're gonna have some grand times now, but like we already have. So let me share this screen here real quick, present it, and all the questions that you have, they actually like literally have video commentary on each one of the functions in this particular demonstration here. Okay, let me share that. There we go. I'm gonna hit entire screen again. Share my system audio. Okay, there we go. All right, that right there should be it right there. And I know why I'm lagging now. I had stopped trying to stream on all platforms. I got all 3 platforms open. Seemed like when I stream on them 3 at one time, that's where I had a problem, man. Didn't really mean to do that, but I did it. So it's on 3 platforms right now. So this is the new tool that I'm talking about here. And you're gonna see, well, it's moving pretty good. Okay, so and this is dealing with what they call the demotic paleographical database project. Notice they're referring to all these things as projects. They are saying that they include, you know, other things in them. Like I say, we're gonna need these tools and others. You know, these got some transliterations in them. Before I go into showing you this little video portion on some of this stuff, because it's a video set in every section. It's a whole video, but every section is cutting a clip out of it, explaining, you know, what is done here. You know, I can show you this right here, for example. Let me see if I type okay, I type in the letter, for example, there, and then it brings up all the letters. And this is actually dealing with the demotic. language. If you hover it over it, and it's actually giving you the hieroglyphic anaglyphics that correspond with it, and it gives you also the transliteration, you know, and it giving the definition, right, while it's giving the transliteration. Now that's just dealing with one alphabet. Right here, you know, if you know doing it before, you can change it up and see it's still giving you more. Y'all familiar with these because we went through these in the Demotic and all that right there when we was talking about that wasn't Alexander the Greek name. You know, the way they were spelling it out. So, I mean, you just click on either one of these signs and symbols. You know, that's like, for example, let me blow that up a little bit. That's Aket. We know that's Aket right there. A-K and T, right? We know Wasir is Osiris, you know. Shimu, you know, which is dealing with the sun. Shimu is a word for sun, Shims. But these are different things. I'm just going across, like I said, I'm gonna let the video explain most of it, but I'm just showing you navigation because I was wondering, man, we already had all of the Demotic dictionary, but that's actually in here. I think they used that to compile this too, by the way. And so they showing the signs, how they tried to correspond, you know, these alphabets, you know, the Demotic alphabets with these pictures, the same way they did with the hieratic. I actually found also a European speaking, talking about he done translated the hieroglyphics in Welsh. And so this lets you know the system that they created. You can use any alphabet like y'all did when y'all pull up the Arabic, and some people using the Hebrew. We say create your own little, you know, fictional hieroglyphic demonstration to show what these people actually did. You know, and yeah, it's something else. And also understanding the nature of the Rosetta Stone is so dismantled, so you can't even see that stuff. The real Rosetta Stone, you know, the one that look all crisp and you can see everything. These fake stones, it said was like about 12 or 11 of them floating around, or possibly more. So that's a whole nother measure. So yeah, we got, you know, you just click on it and then it'll bring up different measures. This actually has whole statement here. You know, Nesne wa Kiminu. Eskaminisu. Got to find out who that one is. You know, and we do know that these they call it so-called Greek terminology because a lot of this right here did come from some of the periods. They also have they actually tell you too the time period that these things come on to manifest. Let me scroll down here. These are your variants. You can actually isolate if you want to some of these things by taking it and you clicking on it, and it actually close them up, or you can go into them too. See, like it'll take you right there into it, and where the papyri come from, or what they call an attestations. You know, it give you the time period where they come from and everything. Then you can go over here and see what's being said. You know, okay, this is Iwi, which means to come, to return. You know, Emin. This is actually a portion of what I was using in my transliteration. You know, so Iwi, which is Imeneus. Then you have Paddy, Wasir Iwi. You know, so it goes on and on, family. The possibilities are endless. And trust me, this is not it. This ain't all. Like I say, if you click on them, then they give you the whole thing here. Then they had they'll give you again the breakdown of it over here. So we got a good tool over here. But I got all this paper copied. A lot of this stuff, I copied a lot of it already. So this tool, what makes it even greater, if you look right here to the side as references, look at what they have. They have the Aku. as a reference. So you can come through this tool. And then they have the Hereditous paleography. Remember the stuff we was dealing with? You know, it got our molar tool up here. So they drawing from all of this. Only difference is now they are refining and they still building up more. So like I said, this is another tool, and this ain't all it do. You got to see this other portion as well. Let me see. I think if I go to corpus, it'll pull it up, because I'm still learning my way and navigating around it. This is giving you all the dates as well on what papyri come from. You can click on the link over there, and if the information there, you can pull it up. This is a lot of sidebar information where you can study. So any information you're looking for, you basically gonna be able to find it. All you got to do is learn how to navigate with the tool, and you can't go wrong. Okay, so let's see here. It's another portion here I wanted to show you that give you options to go into the other tools. Here it is right here. And they still got the same tools I showed you a few minutes ago. This is actually the thesaurus. Wow, I wonder why they didn't bring that link up just then. Let's see. Because I know it was there a few minutes ago. It's invisible. Wow. That's fun. Let's see. All right, not that one. Tell you what I'm going to do. I'll go back to that one in a minute. Down here in the bottom of this site, if you click on these different links, it's other resources in here. You know, more database information. You know, this is something that you're really going to have to sit down and really just go through. But all of it leads to some useful information here. It's a specific few of them that I want to point out and really go into, though. This is another demotic website here. Where's that other one I had the other day? And that's just a mail sending apparatus right there. Not there, not there. Okay. This is a demotic word list demonstration online too, where you can go and look up words, different words. This is the dictionary I was talking about. Y'all remember this? We got this. This is dictionary that come from the Demotic Dictionary of Oriental Institute. Remember all these? This is all the files right here. I don't know if Moorish Ken downloaded them, but if you go into them, I already have them on my computer. So it's just opening right up. But look at all of this. This is all of the demotic here. It's not just limited to demotic because it's in connections also to the hieratic. That's here too. You know, they go into the morphology, materiality. Okay, let me see here. I want to go back here real quick one more time briefly. Okay. And this is actually when you type it in, you'll see each letter as well, Moorish Ken. Once you type the letters in, it's going to bring up words that's relative to the letters that you pull up too. I'm going to just open this one up right here because I don't want to download too much on here, have it bogging down even more. Because I got to go in here, clean it again. I got to keep cleaning this demonstration. I got so many files in the archives. Time to get me another terabyte drive. Yeah. Come on now. Don't be slow poking now. Open, Sesame. Open. You just move it on them a little bit by little bit. What else have them running all the way through there? All right. Come on. Go, 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 go. Goodness gracious. I know I ain't finna try to open up now another one of them files. And then it's a lot of it in there. So that's just one. This is just one of the files. There's a whole bunch of them over here. And I had copied in the end. I did my breakdown too on each letter. There it go right there. Y'all remember this right here. All of this information here that have a lot of different transliterations and definitions in them, showing the Demotic word. So yeah, this is just basically showing you that all of them are there for download. Where is it? They didn't show it there. Okay. I just hit it right here and go back into it and then scroll down. So there you go right there again. This is all of them. They even got the alphabet wrote out beside it too. Letting you know they ain't got it in abjad order. We did put it in abjad order though, so you ain't got to worry about that neither. So those are all those files right there. That's the actual Demotic dictionary. Praise be to Allah. But they actually have it again, Moors, where you can actually write, you know, in the font. I'm trying to get in here. Let's see how I did it before. I just type in the letter A. Let's see if it let me do it. Okay, yeah, there you go right there. So I hit A, then that come up. Okay, then I hit B, then there go your B right there. I hit C, not C, G. There you go, that's your G right there. You know, and so all of them popping up with the same information. All you got to do is just tap on it. It's going to change it. It's going to give you all the variations. And it's showing you the different words. Remember when you scroll over it, there go your definition right there. It's either going to give you a description or a definition. It's also another way of expressing. Let me see if it's this. This might be what I'm trying to do. There you go. Yeah, right there, the text. I ain't figured out how to get this demonstration to stretch out bigger than what it is. All right, now don't you do that. Look at that. What in the world? I ain't touching that, and it's just running all over the place. What they got going on there? So this is your actual text here, family. That's what I was trying to show you. It's a way that you can stretch it. There you go, right there. Oh, I done figured it out now. You got to stretch it out from the corner. All right, come on now. Look at it, look at it. Just all over the place. All right, here we go. So there we go. We'll pull it over. I don't know how far it's gonna let us go. It should give you like a whole windows width though. You know, but this is good, a good expression of the Demotic compared to what we've seen of Demotic, because you know Demotic can, in a lot of them texts that we read, they can look kind of faded and everything, but this is actually giving them to you. I would love to get that font too. Look at it and jumped all the way up out of there. Goodness gracious. Not responding. Come on. Yeah, all is well. Okay, so yeah, basically you can see now they done pulled up all these different measures here. Nothing wrong with that. But if you notice, you see they putting the glyph on them as you go over. I'm gonna blow it up a little bit. They put different glyphs over these demonstrations as you go over them. See, you can isolate them by hitting right clicking. I'm still, like I said, Moors, I'm still learning it too. So I want to try to go back to this text again. But now I just scroll it because it looked like it's going. But yeah, so this is the text in the Demotic. And we can go on and on and on with that demonstration. And it's going to keep giving you, it's got a lot that you can do with this thing. That's basically all we can really say. It's a whole lot to be done. A whole lot to be done. Let me see here. The grandest thing is it got definition. Also over here too, family, give you the history. Right here, the information on this is giving you the history on the particular alphabet. And it's a way the video show you can click on it and it'll pull the whole papyri. That's papyri that's behind that. It ain't just a crop, that's a whole papyri. So they showing it to you word by word, letter by letter. They got a transliteration here. That look like it's in German. There should be a way to convert it to the English. I got to figure that out too. I just copy it and paste it in Google Translate if I have to for the time being. So yeah, they got a whole bunch of stuff here, family, where you can go in here and look at everything pretty much. The history, they also show a little map down here. This is actually a map showing you the places where all of these particular portions come from. They're telling you where all the papyri come from. You know, wherever they found it at. So this is, there you go, right there. That's exactly what I was trying to do a few minutes ago. Did it. There we go, right there. So what this is, like I said, this is the whole papyri. You know, it ain't just one piece, even though they showing one piece. You know, that's the actual thing that they emphasize in this little box here that got the white around it. But yeah, that's beautiful. That's beautiful, family. So I was wondering, like, man, we need something for the Demotic. But as it stands, now we have something concrete to deal with hieratic, and we have something concrete to deal with the Demotic once we get into it again. And this is gonna make it easier because they got the actual definitions on some of these things, and it make it easier for us to transliterate where we don't have to really even go back to the other dictionaries. We can though if we want to vet it, but I'm just showing you this is an all-in-one tool here, and everything is right here pretty much, you know, for your convenience. And they have more links that you can click on down here. This is the Thesaurus Linguae Egyptae. You know, a lot of them other guys be using this demonstration here. Let me see what else we got down here. Just hit these links real quick. Is this that other one? This was one of them here. This is actually in another language, though. I'm pretty sure we can translate it. Possibilities are endless, though. Yeah, we can't go wrong with this. They also had a Coptic dictionary online. You know, you can put different words in there and look them up, and then they'll basically take you to different places. You pick the type of Coptic you want, because it's like 7 dialects normally. You know, they got them all up in here. And, you know, you just, let me see what happened. I ain't really played around with this one too much. I just put the word God in there. They put good in there. Well, all right then. So these are Coptic words, right? God is good. See, it says good one, divine being. This take us back to where Yehoshua would say, why does thou callest me good? Messenger, envoy. So these are the words right here. You know, they giving all these definitions. So we even got a good Coptic tool right here for those who would like to learn that, you know, even better. Because, you know, this is a lifetime thing, family. Nothing you're going to just do overnight. We will master a lot of this, but I'm talking about just dealing with the papyri and the information. You know, this ain't something you're going to run through. It's like the book of fire. You got to study, and study, you know, and just stay abreast in it. You know, so, and that's what's going to make you more sharp when it comes to it. So yeah, that's the Coptic dictionary. They also have a few more tools down here. Like this one is cool here. It's all right. Trismegistus. You can go in here and pull up a whole bunch of different stuff here too. Let me see here. A lot of texts and books. This one is a good one here too, because it has a lot of papyri in here. You just hit search, and you can just go over here, and some of it is already there. Let me see some. Let's see if they got this in here. You may have it in here. I might have spelled it wrong too. Let's see. I tell you what. Choose this at. I just was in here the other day. Okay, here go one, just to show up, because I'm only really trying to show you. You know, it'll give you different things. When you go into the database, they got papyri collection, how much ever you want. Scroll down here, you got everything you can find in here. But it go a little deeper because it actually go into some of the text too. And I was in there the other night. Let's see. See if we do it this way. Okay, yeah, there it go right there. That's what I was trying to get it to do. So what it does, when it take you in here, family, it gives you the inventory number on all the papyri. This is the papyri, and they show you where it's located at. You know, like this is like the royal hymns of Ramesses the 6th and the 7th, right? They show you the year in the catalog, 1886, 1893. This is the original papyri right here. It's going to open it up in a second here. See, it's showing the dynasty right there. You know, you just hit that right there, and it's going to open it up on your whole screen. And like we told you, this is the original source material right here. You know, and that's hieratic we can actually see. So that's grand drawing now. So nevertheless, it's more that can be did with this tool here. But just know this is showing you the actual catalog numbers. And there's many in there, family. Like if you want to know if a papyri is real, like they call this the magical papyri of thought, which is Tehuti. They got a whole bunch of them in here. Administrative papyri, royal decree, magical papyri. Like it's just, I'm telling you, it's on and on and on. It's here. You know, so if you ever wanted to look for things, you were wondering where you can get more at, they got all the catalog numbers here, because that's how you find them. And that's how they are basically identified across the museums, you know, that have them. They all have the same name. It's almost like following the Unicode. So let me go to this next few little tools down here. Yeah, I see the British Museum. They got that here too. This is just one to be able to read information, main source material that's going to different places. I ain't finna accept no cookies right now. That's what they're trying to give me. Because ain't no telling what else they got in there. What might be glitching in there. So yeah, they got other stuff where they just talk about a lot of culture here. Like I say, man, this little tool here got everything we already had and then some. So like, you just have to go through here and take your time you know, but the main things I have showed you, you know, is what needed to be showed. Here's the full text search though, because you can come here as well. And let's see. Is it that one? That's the one? No, that ain't it. Okay. That's it right there. Yeah, take me back to where I need to be. Okay, so yeah. So yeah, over here in this corner, like I was showing you before, they also have an area where you can go into this area with the groups and the signs, and you can actually find any one of these, what we normally call anaglyphs that you want to find. You can find them real easy here. You know, you just click on it, and it's gonna give you the number. Or sometimes I don't even think you have to really click on it. I think you can, yeah, you can hover over it too. You know, so that's a quick way of going there. This is the whole nother site showing you the glyphs, and it gives you the dynasties that everything come from, the dates and all of that. We're gonna teach our family how to use our Moorish calendar. Because you know, we measure time by cycle ages. And so for example, let's just say if we was in, let's say if we got 400 years, you know, according to the Gregorian calendar, you would subtract them, you know, from the smallest calendar an event that we have, say like the 700-year cycle. You would put it there, and that would leave how many, you know, once you do the, you know, math on that particular demonstration of 400 on it. Okay, so this right here brings us into, let's say 300 in the calendar. And that's 300 dealing with the rise and fall of nations, because that's what particular calendar that refer to. But we'll get into it. Even the cycle, like you subtract, you know, that 400, you know, from, let's say 1,000, you know, whatever number is left over there, that's where your calendar history would come from in the Moorish calendar. So it's basically, it's easy. It ain't nothing hard to demonstrate, but we'll demonstrate it one day. So, but nevertheless, they got all this stuff in here, family, like all the dynasties. And I see a lot of this stuff started around about the 3rd dynasty, because prior to that, they said it wasn't. I'll show you what I'm talking about right here. Prior to that, when you get up here in the 2nd dynasty, they ain't got nothing there for that period. That's called pre-dynastic Egypt, before the dynasties. So ain't no time demonstrated in that particular area. It started around the 3rd dynasty, basically, where they show what they have found. Okay, so this is, again, like I said, a great tool. So, I mean, we got so many. This is a good one too, thought sign list. Very powerful demonstration. Because in this particular one here, it gives definitions. You know, it also gives whole transliterations. You know, may your clothing be fine linen. Now, what we would do is go and vet these particular measures, because we don't deal with transliteration the way they deal with it per se. Only words that will be more accurate to us are the ones that are considered logograms or determinatives. That's another thing that we want to do, and we're going to put that out there for the homework, you know, as it relates to dealing with what they call determined. We call them anaglyphs. And so those anaglyphs, we got to become familiar with them as well, even more, because we know the alphabets pretty much to a certain degree. The main little 24 they have, but once we learn those other signs and symbols, we'll know what we're looking at, and they won't throw us off, so to speak. So yeah, this thing is it go on and on and on, family. See the bibliography here. For those who may not be familiar out there listening, the bibliography shows the lineage of a book. Every book has a lineage, a bibliography. You know, it's basically the history that's there. That's how you can trace a book back through sources that are cited. You see? So yeah, we can go into all these special measures, and they actually have different places where these things were written in, paintings as well. So they show the painting version and other measures of it. So I just showed you that a few minutes ago. All right. So like this right here, family, you can't get no better than this right here, because it got everything we already using and then some. And then to make it easier, this is what I said I was going to show y'all about it. I didn't go into it earlier, but this is what I said I would show you. And you can use this and really get some insight into this thing. So let's say you want to become familiar with this. All you got to do is click the video in any one of the tabs, because they there and they're going to tell you about whatever tab you click on.
The info field shows us some basic information on the currently selected sign or word. Having selected a sign, in the upper left corner of the field we find its underlying hieroglyphic ID as used in the DPDP, written from left to right. This can include control characters such as colons and is meant to clarify the exact coding rather than the actual written appearance of the hieroglyphics. In the middle, we find the most common representation of the sign in standard demotic transcription and in hieroglyphic transcription written from right to left. Below this, in this case the sign's phonetic value and its position in the list of most common signs in the corpus are given. For determinatives, instead of a phonetic value, their English designation and determinative code from the Demoshevalk list are displayed. Signs that can be used for their phonetic values or as determinatives show all the respective values. Having selected a word, in the upper left corner we find the word's ID, usually a TLA lemma number. In the middle, we see the transliteration and English translation of the word, and below its word class if this information has been entered already. Again, the position in the list of the most common words is displayed. With words, in many cases, we're also given the word's predecessor with a link to the Egyptian section of the TLA, and its Coptic successor with a link to the Coptic dictionary online. In the numbers field, the amount of found attestations of a sign or word is represented in the top circle. The left number stands for currently displayed attestations. The right number stands for all available attestations in the database. These numbers will be identical as long as no filters are applied to the data. The other circles represent the numbers of inscriptions that the attestations come from, the number of objects that they were written on, the number of individual scribes that wrote them, and the percentage of currently displayed attestations from the database, which will be 100% until we apply filters. If we apply any of the many filters, we see how the numbers change. In our example, we are now looking at 303 out of 416 attestations from 105 out of 129 inscriptions on 97 out of 118 objects produced by 100 out of 122 scribes. This amounts to 73% of the DPDP's attestations being displayed at the moment. The syntactic context field displays signs or words that most frequently precede and follow the currently selected one, as well as the words or compounds that they are most commonly used in. When, for example, searching for the sign neti, we see that in the DPDP's corpus it is most frequently preceded by the pa sign and most frequently followed by the EU sign, while it is most frequently used in the relative converter neti. Searching for the word neti, we see that it is most frequently preceded by the article pa, most frequently followed by the adverb heri, and most frequently used in the compound neti-heri. The References field is the DPDP's portal to the most relevant external projects dealing with Egyptian scripts and languages. When having searched for a sign, the underlying hieroglyphs are linked to the corresponding entries in the thought sign list and the hieratic paleography of the Aku project. Moving the mouse over the individual hieroglyphs displays their code from Gardner's list. A click opens the corresponding website. For determinatives, an additional link to the demotische Wortliste is included. Having searched for a word, links to a large number of online and offline reference works is displayed. This includes the demotic section of the TLA, the demotische Wortliste, the Chicago Demotic Dictionary, opening on the corresponding page of the PDF, thus saving us a lot of scrolling time, E.A.R.S.'s demotisches Glossar, again on the corresponding page, E.A.R.S. Berlin Dictionary, again on the right page, and the two etymologically relevant projects which we have already seen in the info field, the TLA's earlier Egyptian entry and the CDO's Coptic entry. Of course, not all the words in the DPDP's corpus are always represented in all of the given reference works. While in our example we find the full list, a search for personal names will usually produce fewer links. The variance field displays a sign's different shapes or a word's different orthographies. It also functions as a filter. Having searched for a sign, we are given a list of all the standard demotic representations that have so far been included in the DPDP. These are sorted by their earliest appearance in the corpus. If we are only interested in some of them, we can deselect all the others by clicking on them. Notice that this results in the deselected attestations disappearing from the attestations field below. The button selects or deselects all variants, making it a little easier to maneuver in case the list is really extensive. Having searched for a word, instead of shape variants, we are given different orthographies of the word. Moving the mouse over these orthographies displays their underlying hieroglyphic values. Again, we can deselect all unwanted variants. A fairly new feature in the DPDP is the possibility to look at abnormal hieratic signs or words. If a search for sign or word is available in abnormal hieratic, two buttons appear above the variants, one for demotic ones and one for abnormal hieratic ones. By default, only demotic variants are activated. If we want to include abnormal hieratic variants, we click on the left button, thereby activating the available variants. Notice that demotic variants are represented in orange, while abnormal hieratic ones are represented in gray. If we are only interested in abnormal hieratic, we can click on the right button to deactivate demotic. As this video is being recorded, there is only one abnormal hieratic text in the corpus, but more will be added in the future. The word context field shows all words that the selected sign or word is a part of. This field also functions as a filter. Again, by clicking on any of the individual contexts, these are deselected and the corresponding entries disappear from the attestations field. Again, all entries can be selected or deselected with the button below. The attestations field is the main field of the module, containing the images of the found attestations. This field is organized in three ways. First, geographically, according to provenance and sorted from north to south. In our case, we find attestations from size all the way down to fillet, and at the very bottom, attestations of unknown origins. The second principle of organization is chronological. For each place, we find the earliest attestations on the upper left and the latest ones on the bottom right. The third principle of organization is by inscription. Each inscription is represented by a box with a colored frame. By default, no more than 2 attestations from each inscription are displayed, but in the upper left corner of each box, we are given the total number of attestations available and the number of currently displayed ones, in case some have already been filtered out. And if we click on one of these boxes, all the corresponding attestations are displayed. Another click closes the box again. Also, the color of the box's frames corresponds to one of the major phases of the development of the demotic script, which can also be found on the timeline. So, a blue frame contains early demotic attestations, an orange frame contains early Ptolemaic ones, a yellow frame late Ptolemaic, and a green frame Roman demotic attestations.
Yeah, Islam, Moorish kin. So yeah, all these different measures, you can go further into it once I send the link out to you where you can go further. But these are, like I say, videos that are showing you how to navigate. It's one video, but it was able to be clipped out to where it actually goes into exactly what they're referring to. So like I said, you can use these things to be able to get your transliterations without having to go somewhere else. You can also use these tools along with the one that I gave you last week and the molar, by, vetting them, and looking at certain things. Because I know for sure that in the transliteration process, some of that stuff wasn't like it should be. And the brother said it in the document that we read when he was speaking. I think this it right here. Yeah, he said it right here. He said that, they had not mentioned the original source material, hieratic. So, praise be to Allah for being able to come forth, and find these things, because it's going to definitely speed up our process of being able to begin to present works. So, a lot of times, when we demonstrate, in order to immerse ourselves into it, we can bring the knowledge of what we have of the language by the definitions and give our Moorish kin insight, and then show the corresponding definition to the commentaries that were given by our chairman, and that's how we make the definition Moorish. You see, for example, let's just say we were looking at the word, strength. We know strength mean to be strong on the manifest, strong mentally, or whatever, strong spiritually. But, we would go into our Moorish Holy Quran and say, okay, well, this is really referring to the strength of Allah. You see what I'm saying? And that's how you making that particular definition Moorish. You see? And we can go into other definitions the same way. So praise be to Allah, Islamism without the schism. And that's our drawing. We're going to send the message out because we want our family to really emphasize on what they call determinants and we call anaglyphs. And you can use your regular tool for that, the one we normally do. You can use that too, go into it, the one I just showed you. But, we keep you in the realm of what you're already familiar with. The molar tool here and there and the other stuff. But you want to learn, because you can pull up a list. And you got, a lot of y'all got the Gardenians list, but you can pull it up in that tool that I just showed you. Or you can come right here and find it. And then they have certain time definitions on these things. The more we become familiar with these anaglyphs, the easier it'll be on the other when we see them in the hieratic. We want to be able to identify, you know, the hieratic formula. When I say hieratic, y'all already know I'm speaking of the hieratogram. Because when you come over here, it has them there. And it has the date, the kingdom, and everything. And so all of these tools, even though we done pulled them in together from, you know, different directions, so to speak, it's the same people that has produced all this. The same brother from Japan over there, you know, and I think that was him actually talking in that video, you know, because I seen one video of him sound just like it. So nevertheless, we got everything we need to do what we need, and it's got a tutorial in there. You can't beat that. You can go in there and learn everything you want to learn. And so, I mean, the possibilities are endless. But the main thing, we're going to get to where we can actually come together and begin to produce literature based on our perspectives. And that's why it was necessary for us to learn this, learn the true history, learn how the European came in there and just did what they want to do with the language, and, you know, also go in there and vet their interpretations and expose, you know, these misprints, because they have a lot of stuff in here that cause people to slam the Kemet. You know, oh, look at what they said. They said this in Kemet and they said that. So the only reason they can get away with that because our people have been so lazy, they've been dependent on these European translations. When we gonna have our own transliteration and translation? You see what I'm saying? And so that's what this is all boiling down to. We gonna write our history. The prophet said it. We got the pen in our hands, so we got to do it. So that being said, family, we just want to say gratitude in Islam, and see if we have any questions from the scribes before we close out. Islam, what you think about the new tool?
Islam, yeah, thought that was big. Oh, did I step on somebody? Okay. Yeah, I think it's very powerful. I mean, like I said, the more tools you have, the better. But to really spend time in going in and figuring out how to use it for the mostest, to get the most out of it. I think that's what I'm looking forward to. I just say gratitude. So,
Oh yeah, gratitude, most definitely. Islamism without the schism. Okay, we got some brothers asking some questions here. Good information, brothers and sisters. Waiting for my copy to come in the mail. Would it be disrespectful if I bring this information to my lodge brothers? What's going on, Adam 79? You know, we trying to teach our people, brother. We don't keep no secrets over here, you know. So everything we put out here is sacred, and you know, you can take it wherever you want to take it as far as teaching people. You know, that's why we demonstrating publicly. We just trying to show our people it's time for us to do what we do. But the main thing is, as long as we sit back on our hand and let somebody else interpret stuff for us, and we, you know, they got a King James Bible, they got a New this, New Testament that, New this, and they got, you know, all type of versions of the Quran. Well, what a Moorish version at? You know, that's what we more concerned with. So Islam, gratitude for that question, though, brother. Praise be to Allah. So Islam, next scribe.
Islam,
Grand National Secretary of the State.
Islam, having already risen, giving praise and honor where due. Just gratitude for the new tool. Definitely looking forward to going in and, you know, in essence, another adventure. And as you stated, more lifetime demonstration. And this, you know, is definitely going to help, especially when you're dealing with the demonic and also the hieratic, and being able to see the dynasties and the various breakdowns and things of that nature. So gratitude more for definitely keeping us abreast. Appreciate it. Peace and love.
Peace and love. Praise be to Allah. Islamism without the schism. All right.
Islam.
Islam, Sister Curtis Bay. I know you like that. You can go in there and get in there. And
Yeah. I'm sitting there looking. I'm like, okay, now that give me a whole lot. It's almost like you can do everything in that one thing.
There you go.
Yeah, the key is learning how to maneuver in it and learning my way around. But hey, I'm game. Hey, I ain't scared.
Yeah, that's right.
I'll go get in there and looking forward to it. And you such a wonderful teacher, Dr. Shahid. And we have any questions, we can always come to you and ask and just looking forward to getting this new tool on and trying it out. Like the other tool that you gave us. It seemed like the tools you keep giving seem like they keep getting how you put it, better. They get like they get more advanced and give you more information where you don't have to go to this one and that one. You don't have to run all over the place. Now you kind of condensing it into like you can just do everything in that one thing. So I'm enjoying myself. Islam and gratitude to you for all the work you do, because I tell you, we would know nothing about this if you hadn't brought it to us. So we appreciate you, everything that you're doing. They're going out there, getting things to help us continue to move forward. Islamism.
Gratitude, praise be to Allah for that special measure, Goddess and Queen. And them tabs in there is very powerful too, where you can go in there and hit them and they explain each session. I love that. So yeah, you can't become nothing but a mastermind. All it is, you learn the methodology and put your own science on it, and that's what's going to make it grand. Your own particular style and delivery. Islam. All right. Any other scribe want to come forth and give us
Islam.
a draw? Islam.
Looking at this tool and then thinking about the Vegas and the Egyptian, all these three together, you know what I'm saying? I like the fact that it got some demotic up in there, so it's going to make even the translation and the expansion of the definition even more Moorish when we put the like you said earlier, when we actually thinking about breaking down those words, because one of the chapters that I've been wanting to transliterate is the unity of life. Have I like now I'm unable to recite it, but just to have that in our own language, saying, kind of speaks to when you're speaking to the original essence of the power, just as well as if you learn binary codes to a computer, you can decipher anything. So if all the languages go back to one, you know what I'm saying, you can really break down every single other language without any problems. And that's why it's always good to know the original, and hence why that first question is, who made you? Islam? Peace and love.
Islamism. Praise be to Allah, brother, for that drawing. And did we get our brother? We got our brother M. Edwards Bay. Yeah, most definitely. Islam Moors. We got a grand work to do, because our people, when I tell you they need the truth, and it's something else. All I can say is when we get out there and we trying to teach them, some of our people want to learn and some of them don't, but we're going to keep going with the keeping on. Drop it like it's hot and keep it moving. Make it rain. We don't care who get wet. They should have had an umbrella on. So Islamism, and they better hope it don't fold up with the gust of a strong wind, because they gonna get wet anyway. And y'all get a chance. We got a measure we had posted recently where we was drawing with the family recently, and it was a grand bill for the most part of it, and we got us up into, like, I think we 900 and almost 12 views now. On that particular video, I think they probably about 12,000 views on the video itself, but I'm talking about on the channel, we got like 912 subscribers. So that's a lot of people that's listening to what it is we putting out here. And it's gonna only get greater, because I ain't did what other people do. They pay for their views and they buy their views and everything else, And so our people just gotta wake up, and once we can get them to wake up, all is well. We ain't got a lot of time though. I told our family the hourglass done ran out. So Islamism without the schism, it's just peace and love. And we encourage our family to really go into the essence of self-mastery, and a lot of our people don't know we them ones that's destined to be on the manifest to change this thing and turn everything around. All we got to do is be ourselves. But if we can't be ourselves, if we feel like it's something wrong with that, we'll never be able to accomplish anything. So gratitude, and at this time, we're going to pass this measure over to Sister Dendra. Ania Kurtabay, Islam.
Islam, Islam, Islam.
Wait a minute, I want to make sure Act 1 don't want to say anything before we close out.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Islam, yeah. Chairman, do you have a measure you would like to bring forth before we close it up?
Open.
Yeah, I love you.
Yeah, that's Islam. It don't get no better than that. We love you too, Greg. All right now. All right. Well, go ahead, Sister Dendra.
Islam, we love you too, Chairman. Islam. January 15, 1929, a warning from the prophet to be read at every meeting. I hereby inform all citizens that they must end all radical, agitating speeches while at work, in their homes, or on the streets. We are for peace and not destruction. Stop flashing your cards at Europeans. It causes confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Failure to obey these orders will be a severe consequence. We are for love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And when these principles are violated, justice must then take its course. Any citizen or group of citizens who hold malicious feelings toward the government or the prophet or violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement will receive their reward from Allah for their unjust deeds. All true Moors will and must obey the law as laid down to them by their prophet. If they lose confidence in their prophet, they should turn in their card and button, cease wearing their turban and fez, and return to the state where I, the prophet, found you. This is a holy and divine movement founded by the prophet Noble Jew Ali. And if the prophet is not right, the government is not right. The prophet, therefore, is sending out the divine plea to all Moorish Americans that they do their part in protecting their prophet and the government. This is an everlasting movement founded by the prophet through the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sinful ways by the order of Prophet Noble Jew Ali. A holy covenant of the Asiatic nations. Ye are the children of one father, provided for by his care, and the breast of one mother have given you suck. Let the bonds of affection, therefore, unite thee with thy brothers, that peace and happiness may dwell in thy father's house. And when ye separate in the world, remember the relation that bindeth you to love and unity, and prefer not a stranger before thy own blood. If thy brother is in adversity, assist him. If thy sister is in trouble, forsake her not. So shall the fortune of thy father contribute to the support of his whole race, and his care be continued to you all in your love to each other. Islam, Islam, Islam. This meeting is officially adjourned according to Act 2. Go in peace, Moors. Islam. Great class.
Islam.
Grand class. Islam.
Great
Yes,
class,
sir.
Cyber Shahid.
Beautiful measure.
Islamism, that's right. Islam, we love you, Moors. Peace
Great
and love.
class. Love
Islam.
you as well.
Gratitude. Islam. Islam.
See
Yes,
y'all.
sir. Well, all
See
right
you
now,
in summer
family.
school.
I was just finna say that. Goodness gracious.
That's right.
That's where guys and the guidance of the nation derived from right there.
No, that's right.
That's
right.
Praise be to Allah.
Peace and
All
love.
right.
All right.
Go at it with our little our Moorish measure. Peace and love to the family too that's out there in the YouTube world. You know, we love you. And y'all keep showing up. You're welcome here, and you can come up here on the panel when you get ready. You know, we ain't got no discrimination going on. Anybody can come up in here and get it. Not wrong.
Whoever reads.
Islam.
Islam.
We love your family.
Love you too. Grand demonstration.
Okay.
It's always been the few that's
Peace and love.
Peace and love.
Peace and love.